Postecoglou his first as a competitive match as Celtic.
We were disappointed to drop out of the Champions League. This gives us another opportunity to stay in European football.
For Celtic, Edouard's in, he chips it, saved, the rebound's in though, and James Forrest slides it home. Celtic running amok against the Czechs. And it is Celtic 3, Jablonec 0 on the night, and 7-2 on aggregate. Celtic go through and they will face AZ Alkmaar in the playoff round for a place in the Europa League group stage.
For the first 25, probably 30 minutes, we were the kind of team we want to be, and we fed off the energy of the great support we had in here tonight. And we lost our way a little bit last 15 minutes, but then, again, second half we picked it up right at the beginning, and again played some really good football. And super pleased with the rewards tonight.
Down the left goes Rogic, taking on his man. Early ball in, Kyogo's there. Of course he's there. He's always there! Celtic's new hero does it again! It is a massive goal in Celtic's Europa League season, and it is Celtic 1, AZ Alkmaar 0. And Turnbull does well to win it back, and now it's with Kyogo, rolls it into the penalty area. Forrest there, he's got his back to goal, he turns, he shoots, and it takes a deflection into the net, and Celtic have their second goal! It is Celtic 2, AZ Alkmaar 0.
It was a good game of football, I thought. They're a good team, and they took it to us at times and made it difficult, but we stood there and still tried to play our football. We had some good chances, they had a couple of chances, but overall pleased that against a good opponent we still imposed our will on the game.
Oh, here's a big chance. Celtic have been put through an opportunity to play across here. Oh, it's gone! Under 2.5 minutes gone. It is the perfect start for Celtic. 1-0 up on the night, 3-0 up on aggregate, and once more Kyogo, the goal scorer. It's back to the goalkeeper, Verhoeven sends it long, Worst lets it run, and that's going to have to be Hart coming out. Hart's not got there, it's a terrible piece of play, and Abukal will score. AZ Alkmaar 1, Celtic 1. Furuhashi is there, into the middle, it goes, missed by Sinner, it's not a goal! Carl Salford has put through his own net in the most comical of fashion. That is horrific. Celtic trailing now by 2-1 in Holland.
It's hugely important that we got through. Different type of performance tonight, but reward, I guess, for over the two legs, getting the job done.
The most comprehensive coverage of Scottish football. Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland.
Good evening and a very warm welcome indeed from me, Richard Gordon. Celtic, of course, going out of the Champions League at the hands of Michelin, but they disposed of Jablonec and AZ Alkmaar. And now they are looking forward to group stage football once more in the Europa League. As indeed are Rangers, they'll kick off at 8 against Lyon. We'll keep you across that game, but there will be full live commentary from Seville as Real Betis and Celtic get the group up and running. Leverkusen and Ferencváros will be kicking off at the same time. We'll keep you across that and the other games across the continent. But in the main, of course, full live commentary. Tom English is with me in this studio. In our commentary studio, James McFadden and Pat Bonner. And our commentator, Liam McLeod, who can fill us in on the team news.
Yeah, tough start for Celtic in this group, up against the side that finished 6th in La Liga last season. They are Real Betis, coached by the former Manchester City and West Ham manager Manuel Pellegrini. They were 6th last season, but they were 16 points behind their fellow Seville side, Sevilla, who finished 4th. They finished ahead, though, of the Europa League winners Villarreal, who, of course, are in the Champions League as a result of that tournament success last season. So it's a very decent squad that the home team have, and they put out a strong 11. Celtic, of course, have been shorn of several. Callum McGregor, the captain, barely misses a game, but he misses this one through injury. Joe Hart starts in goal with the captain's armband as a result of him not being available. There's no Greg Taylor either, and Liel Abada, for religious reasons, doesn't play this evening. So there's a second start in the Celtic first team for Adam Montgomery. It's a big night for him, his first start in Europe. And the other player to come into the side is Ismaila Soro. 3 changes from the side that faced Ross County at the weekend. Hart in goal, a back four of Ralston, Carter Vickers, Starfelt and Juranovic, who moves over to the left-hand side, as he did against, the first league game he played. So he moves into that position again. It's Rogic, Soro and Turnbull across the middle. Jota, I think, given he's two-footed, will start on the right-hand side with Montgomery over on the left and Albion Ayeti is the man through the middle. For Betis, the goalkeepers, plenty changes, much changed side from the one that beat Granada in their first league success. That was on Monday evening for Real Betis. They won that game 2-1. Claudio Bravo is one of the changes to come into the side. The Chilean who starts in goal, formerly of Barcelona and Manchester City. Vitor Ruiz, Fekir and Iglesias, the striker, are the only three to keep their places. So it's Bravo in goal, a back four of Martin Montoya, another former Barcelona player who was on the bench against Celtic back in 2012 for those two Champions League games. The middle two of the defence, Edgar Gonzalez, 6'4" centre-half, and Victor Ruiz, former Barcelona and Espanyol youth. With over on the left-hand side, Juan Miranda. 4-2-3-1 formations, generally how they play. Andres Guardado, the Mexican, 169 caps for his country, alongside Sergio Canales, who was a goal scorer against Aberdeen in the Europa League qualifiers for Real Sociedad back in 2014. Across the three behind the striker, Juanmi on the left-hand side, Nabil Fekir, French international, very talented player. He and Canales make them tick. And a 40-year-old Joaquin starts on the right-hand side. Incredible. He was playing La Liga football in the 1990s and featured for Spain at the 2002 World Cup finals as well. The main striker, as I mentioned, Borja Iglesias, who's yet to get off the mark this season. The referee for this one this evening is Croatian 37-year-old Fran Jovic.
Right, it's 5:45. It gets up and running. Slightly earlier start in the Europa League group stages this season. Liam will be all set for that. You know, they may have made all those changes, but that's a Real Betis team still full of very well-known names indeed. Let's concentrate on the Celtic lineup. Pat, I can't imagine you would have anticipated Celtic kicking off in the group stages of the Europa League with a front three of Jota, Ajeti and Montgomery.
No, absolutely. Obviously the changes with the players going out, and then of course the injury to Kyogo, which is a big blow to them. And the injury to James Forrest also. I'm not sure, Liam, did you say that James Forrest is on? He's not on the bench.
No.
Sorry,
he's not.
He's not on the bench. So that's a body blow to them. It's a very, let's call it an experienced front three.
I'll give you the bench packy then if you want. So Barkas and Bain are the sub goalies. Scales, McCarthy, Uragide, Shaw, Murray, Henderson and Welsh. Pretty thin.
Very thin on that ground also.
I mean, thin both in terms of numbers and quality.
Yeah.
And also any options that Celtic have up front.
Yes, absolutely. So listen, tonight they need to be well organised. When you don't have your top players, you need to really rely on other things. You need to have a real good collective organisation, every player working their socks off for each other and individually then not to make mistakes. And you need a very, very big slice of luck throughout the game at certain moments, and put all them things and you still might not come out of it with a result. Tonight, if they get away with it and get any type of a draw would be a great result. A 1 would be a magnificent result, but not to come out of here getting really done is the critical factor. And you know, it is a group stage, so it's away from home, so they know that they'll have better opportunities at home against these teams. But tonight is about performance, but they have to do it as a group, a real group. And even in the middle of the pitch, you know, with Rogic in there having to probably work defensively is not his forte, to be perfectly honest. And then Soro lacking of experience, having to sit in that holding role instead of McGregor. So a lot of questions to be asked, but it's a big night for them, and if they turn it around, then their confidence will be high, but it's going to be tough.
Right, James, I guess there's probably half a dozen players that would otherwise have been in the starting lineup, but Celtic cannot allow that kind of thinking to seep in, can they? They've got to go out there, they've got to try to be positive in terms of how they feel they can affect this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, you know, you're looking at guys coming into the team and trying to force their way into the team. Now they're not in because they've been doing well, unfortunately, but that's the way football goes sometimes. But they have to take their chance when it comes, and you know, the manager's been very clear. He sees the best way of playing is attacking. So it's a big onus on the attacking players. I know Ajeti get a couple of goals at the weekend, but you know, I think it was something like 15 touches he had in the whole game, which is, you know, you have to be in a game like this. Yeah, he might not get a lot of touches, but it has to be an outball. to get them, up the pitch at times, and he will have to be key for them. He will have to lead that line well. He'll have to, be an option into feet and also in behind. But I think the biggest loss for me is Callum McGregor. Sorrow coming into that area. Yeah, he's done well at times, but the way that Celtic want to play, how they want to build up from the back, Sorrow does not offer you anywhere near the quality of Callum McGregor on the ball to go and build those attacks, to be able to take the ball under pressure and try and set that little trap, entice the press, and then play that pass once there's players round about him. So it's a huge night for Sorrow. I'm quite surprised we haven't, James McCarthy isn't in the starting lineup.
Yeah,
he's not fit though. I spoke to James at the weekend, and he's recovering. He's been out he's had COVID, and obviously his fitness isn't up to standard. So I think that's probably why he's not. He told me that he's out for 16 days. And that's a long time to be out, and he hadn't been able to train or anything. So I think that's the reason why.
Well, look, the players just emerging, so I'll give you guys just a few moments. Tom is with me. Tom, it's a tough group that Celtic are in. The next couple of games are at home against Leverkusen and Ferencváros, but there are no gimmies in this. So if Celtic can indeed get anything from this evening, it would be a massive lift for them at the start of the campaign, wouldn't it?
Oh, listen, as Pat said, if they got a draw out of this, it would be a magnificent result, considering they're missing 6 or 7 frontline guys who would have started tonight if everyone was fit. So it's a huge task. The Betis team looks strong, looks experienced, looks settled. This Celtic team, it's not settled at all. It's kind of thrown together. It's kind of a little reminder of the Michelin team that was thrown together a little bit, but obviously different circumstances. Celtic have the players now, but they're just not available. Back then they didn't have the players at the club. So it's one to survive. If they can just survive this and get a point out of it somehow, I think it would be outstanding.
Thursday nights are going to be so busy right across the continent now, not just the Europa League group stage, but also the group stages, of course, of the Europa Conference League. Some English clubs involved as well, and of course Rangers will be in action in the second tranche of games, so we'll keep you right across the goals as they go in. For now, of course, focusing on Group G, Celtic's group. Leverkusen against Ferencváros about to get underway at the Bay Arena in Seville. It is Real Betis against Celtic. Full live commentary with us here on Sports, and we're live, of course, on digital, 810 media wave, and online. Betis against Celtic live with Pat Bonner, James McFadden and Liam McLeod.
Yeah, quite the noise in the Andalusian sunshine. The mercury touching around about 30 degrees Celsius ahead of kick-off as Celtic open their 21-22 Europa League campaign in the city that will host the final of this season's Europa League. Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium will be in charge of the showpiece on May the 18th next year, as Celtic return to the city of Seville for the first time since that UEFA Cup final defeat after extra time to Porto back in 2003, and that was at the Cartuja Stadium, which hosted a few matches at Euro 2020 and which is about a 20-minute drive from the stadium that hosts this evening's match, the Estadio Benito Villamarín, which holds just over 60,000 people. It's not too far off capacity crowd this evening. The top deck seems to have the most missing supporter, some empty chairs up there, and we're just about ready to go. It sounds like a decent atmosphere as the two sets of players get ready to start proceedings, both wearing change colours this evening. Celtic will be wearing their white away kit with the pinstripe jerseys, white shorts, white socks, and Betis are wearing their blue with white flashes as well. The home team, actually their traditional colours the same as Celtic, green and white, and that is because their co-founder Manuel Ramos Asensio supported Celtic when he studied in Glasgow. And it will be the visitors who'll kick off right to left as we watch. About 2/3 of the pitch is shaded by the main stand, which is where the TV cameras are housed, which is the angle we are watching. Celtic going right to left. Ange Postecoglou waits inside his technical area. He'll be pacing around that, you would imagine, for the 90 minutes. There's a slight delay in kick-off time again. This is no doubt due to the television broadcaster, the host broadcaster, the floor manager for which is down beside the fourth official, and the Croatian referee gets things underway. It's a German in charge of the VAR this evening, as it's knocked out to Juranovic on this near side and passed to the left for Montgomery. He's darting in field, big night for him. First start in Europe for Adam Montgomery's played all the way out to the right-hand side for Jota, who does begin on the right flank. Montgomery very much a left-sided player. Jota prefers it on the left, but he's two-footed, and he starts the game out there as Ralston picks up the ball and moves in field to Sorrow. Little pass to Turnbull, and he rolls it back to the edge of the centre circle for Starfelt. We'll be hoping for a better evening than his last Europa League outing, which was in the playoff in the Netherlands against AZ, and he put through his own net as the ball's played all the way back to Joe Hart, who rolls it to Starfelt. And Joe Hart's experience will be crucial this evening. His opposite number tonight, Claudio Bravo, took his shirt at Manchester City, Paki Bonner, so perhaps he's got a score to settle there.
He has indeed, and you know, I think he's been asked, and since I've watched him play, he's been asked to play that little high position to almost link the game, be the pivot at the back, and you know, it's a big responsibility for Joe. But I think the other thing that he adds to the team is that experience in and around about the dressing room, and also I think he's a big character, and he'll make the big saves when called upon.
Rogic for Juranovic to Turnbull, rolls it infield along the deck, back to Rogic midway inside Betis territory. Rogic has it nicked off him though, and now it's the experienced Joaquin, all 40 years of age, of him out on the right-hand side for Betis this evening. Juranovic makes the challenge on Fekir, and it's out of play for a throw-in on this near side. He's their go-to, Nabil Fekir. He is a bit long ball forward. Joe Hart's come a long way from his penalty area to clear it under pressure there. Now the flag has gone up, and again it's another example is Juanmi, the left winger, who was moving into a central area to get onto it. He's clearly offside, but the linesman has to wait until the ball's touched before he puts the flag up. It's a nonsensical rule that we've touched on so often.
As one of
recently.
them rules, Liam, that really does my head, and I'm waiting for somebody to have a clash soon, and somebody to come out really, really bad from that clash.
Well, exactly. It makes no sense on any level.
No, just going back to that, the situation was that Celtic had a really high line. They were almost standing on the halfway line, and that space in behind their defence is there to be exploited, and just the timing of the run was out. If he had a delay a second, he might have been in a little bit better, and he would have broke the offside trap. But that's a really high line from Celtic.
Goalless in the game, but it's Betis with Fekir, though he loses out. The referee sounds his whistle, and he's given the home team a free kick round about the halfway line. Smiler Sorrow is laughing his head off at that decision in sarcasm, I would have thought, as he nipped away at Fekir's heels. Free kick given to the
it's
home
the right
side.
decision as well. Sorry, Liam, it's the right decision. He's laughing, but he's the wrong side of Fekir, and he has, you know, a couple of nibbles at it. He catches him a couple of times, and it causes Fekir to overrun the ball. Carter Vickers with a good chance, but that's something as well with Sorrow. His positional play at times, he's the deeper one. He has to be in the position to stop a guy like Fekir. He can't be getting in between the lines, the defence, the midfield. He has to be aware of where he is and be in the right position to snuff it out. He can't be running back and giving away free kicks when he doesn't have to.
It's way back with Claudio Bravo, one of 8 changes by Pellegrini for the game this evening. Looks as though Bravo, the experienced Chile international, is going to begin the cup matches, as many of the Spanish sides tend to do, for Carter Vickers. And then the scratch picked up by Fekir, who's bundled to the ground by Sorrow. He's going to find himself, I think, in the book here. Fekir, he's had a couple of nibbles at him, and as James was talking about earlier, as the Croatian referee flashes the yellow card at Ismaila Sorrow. It's the way he plays the game, Sorrow, but he's certainly left his mark on Fekir there. Yeah, 0-0.
I think Fekir was also waiting for it. He's just stamped. That is one of the rules now, or one of the situations that's been outlawed. You've seen the other night Manchester United player getting sent off for a very similar situation, although he was stretching much more than Sorrow was stretching there, but he's come down on the instep of the player, and that's something that's just about timing more than anything else. But now he's in the book. Now he's got to be really careful.
Fekir just laying it back there to the number 10, Sergio Canales, out to this near side. It's a poor ball by Montoya, although he gets it back off the Celtic defender. It's Canales inside the central area of the pitch, moving it right to left, out to that left-hand side. It's picked up by Miranda. His low ball's cut out by Carter Vickers, and now it's with Turnbull in a central area. He finds Montgomery, lays it off first time short with the left boot to Juranovic, driving forward, slipping it through left-hand side of the box for Ayeti. He'll win the corner as his scuffed shot comes off Victor Ruiz. First corner of proceedings. It is a Celtic corner, 9 minutes in at 0-0. And Ange Postecoglou must be delighted that this team that he's managed to string together for tonight's match has started the game in such a positive manner.
Absolutely, and they're all comfortable on the ball, and they're all very confident in taking the ball in tight areas and linking up together, and that's been really positive in this opening sort of 10 minutes of the game.
Turnbull will take the corner. Jota's a short option. He puts it into the box though. It's headed clear by Betis. Only as far as Soro. Up into the air it goes. Headed clear on the 18-yard line. Now it's picked up by Fekir, who, well, I think there might well have been an offside in the previous moment when Soro headed into the box. But of course, as we've just been discussing, they leave it for as long as they possibly can. 10 goalless minutes into the match in Seville, where it remains Betis 0, Celtic 0, and it's been a good start by the visitors as they look to make a bigger impression on this competition than they did last season. They went from topping their section in 1920 to finishing bottom, and they took some wallopings as well, twice to Sparta Prague, to Milan. It was a campaign to forget, albeit they did manage to go to France and hold the eventual Ligue 1 champions Lille, and they beat them at Celtic Park as well, but that was their only victory. To go from top to bottom in the space of 12 months was a massive disappointment. As Starfelt picks it up, getting it from Joe Hart on this near side. The Swede moving forward, shifting it down the line for Rogic. Good play by the Aussie, slips it infield to Montgomery, shows too much of it though to Canales, and it's a poor ball by Victor Ruiz, gives it straight to Jota over on that right flank. Almost 11 minutes in. Jota trying to turn away from Juanmi, rolls it into Soro, short with the right boot to Turnbull. Turnbull's reverse disguised ball looking for Ralston, who didn't read it, and it's cleared by Victor Ruiz up towards halfway as the referee's whistle goes again. This time it's gone in Celtic's favour for the challenge on Carter Vickers. 11 in, Betis 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, the pass from Turnbull, Ralston made the run, then he checked, and just as he checked, David Turnbull played the pass, and you know the foul's coming because Iglesias has got a hold of Carter Vickers' shirt. But it's been a really good start from Celtic. Even when Montgomery, you know, he thinks he's got more time than what he actually has, he loses the ball, but they force Betis back, and then the pressure comes from Jota off the right, Turnbull pushing forward as well and forcing that mistake. So there's been a lot to like about this start from Celtic.
Yeah, it's Betis in the attack here. Joaquin into the box, cuts it in onto the left foot, sliding, challenged by Juranovic, blocks the shot as it breaks to Rogic. Brilliant keeping up from Rogic, and he's found Turnbull. Turnbull flicks it with the outside of the right boot. Jota rampaging down that far side. It's now at the feet of Jota, attacking the right-hand side of the box, driving it across, it's in! Celtic have the ball in the net, but it's not going to count. Ayeti looks over at the ref and the linesman. Ange Postecoglou can't believe that this goal isn't going to stand. Now there is a VAR, so they may well have a look back at this one. But Celtic, through Ayeti, had the ball in the net, but the referee's whistle has dampened the celebrations. It stays nothing each for now.
I'm not sure if he's given it for a handball here rather than an offside. It's definitely not an offside. I think he's given it for a handball. I can't see anything wrong with the goal.
Getting a good look at this replay, Packy.
Yeah, whether it's come up off his foot onto his chest or onto his arm, but to disallow it,
the defender's kicked it onto him. Yeah, okay, but it's not clear whether it's hit his arm or not.
There is a check going on. So,
by the way, if it counts, what a goal! Yeah. In terms of the build-up, you mentioned the keep-ups from Rogic, little reverse lob pass to Turnbull. Turnbull with the outside of the boot pass to Jota, couple of little step-overs, and he fires into a great area. And, you know, for that play alone, I hope this goal stands. It was magnificent.
Well, the Celtic supporters are on tenterhooks. Ange Postecoglou's on tenterhooks. They're going through the review now. We're watching replays. I don't think that's gone off the arm. I think this is a good goal.
It should count.
I think this is a Celtic goal. as it came in
off
off
his
the
chest.
defender, bounced off Ayeti. Let's have a look at this. All eyes on the Croatian referee. Anthony Ralston's talking to him as well right now. He was involved in the build-up. The ref's got his fingers up to his earpiece, which is nestled in his right ear.
All eyes on the referee, but all eyes also on whoever's doing the check up in the stand, because this for me is I think it should be a goal. Even if his hand came off his arm, his hand was down along his side, so it's nothing.
It doesn't look as though it's come off the arm at all.
It looks like it was his chest,
yeah,
or his side.
Certainly from the angle we have now, I can only imagine they're having a look at different angles right now in the whatever the VAR check is happening. Packy Dickens, it's up in the stand as the ref waits. They're still reviewing it just now. This has been over a minute, coming on 2 minutes since Ayeti put the ball in the net. The referee is now signalling.
Goal.
Yeah, goal. It's been given. It's been given, no handball, and Albion Ayeti goes away to celebrate finally. It's a huge moment, and it is the biggest moment in the Celtic career so far of Albion Ayeti, who's put Celtic in front in Seville. It is Real Betis 0, Celtic 1.
And it's the goal deserved from the start that they've had in this game. 14 minutes, 15 minutes in, they've really controlled the game. Their high press, they've stopped Seville. Seville have not been comfortable. Seville, Real Betis, should I say, have not been. I don't want any Real Betis fans coming on to me talking about that, but Real Betis, they have not been comfortable in that Celtic high press. They haven't been able to play out as we normally see maybe Spanish teams do in settling on the ball and controlling the game. Celtic have really pressed them, and then when they've had the ball, Celtic, they've controlled the game. Good passing, slick passing, and they've got themselves there on the counter-attack, up the pitch. Great ball, and Ayeti, where he should be, right between the posts, getting on the end of it.
Yeah, it's a goal for Celtic that will be celebrated by their supporters. I know that there have been some have made their way to Andalusia as Betis come forward, driving to the edge of the box with their shot, which Joe Hart gets down to smother. Down low to his right. It was a comfortable enough save for the former England international from Fekir. 60 minutes in, Betis 0, Celtic 1. There's also been a goal in the other game in Group G, which we're watching Celtic in action in just now, and it's for Ferencváros, who lead Bayer Leverkusen in Germany. So perhaps two scorelines right now that many neutral observers across the continent wouldn't have expected this evening, with Celtic 1-0 up in Seville as well. It's the Morocco international Ryan Mayi who's scored the goal for Ferencváros as Betis have to clear their lines. We didn't see what was going on because the television director was in a replay. He came in from the right-hand side, just flashed across the 6-yard box of Betis, and eventually goes out to safety on the reverse side of the pitch. It was Ayeti, and again it was, as we see the replay, and the goalkeeper Bravo's come out to meet him, and he's actually made a very good save.
Just offside, though.
No, it wasn't. He's given a foul for Montgomery.
Okay.
Montgomery has a little kick as the defender goes to clear it. Very little in it, you know, but even without that, the panic, you know, it just cuts back as he's clearing it, and it just looks like a mass panic in the box. But going back to the goal, the Celtic goal, it's absolutely sensational play between Rogic and Turnbull in the middle of the park. It's brilliant. It's a goal that, you know, it's talking about exciting the fans. Fantastic build-up play.
Yeah, here come Betis though, swinging the ball in. It's sliced behind for the corner by Carter Vickers, 17 and a half in. Celtic lead 1-0. Real Betis have their first corner of the piece though, as they look to hit back quickly.
Yeah, I don't know about you, James. Yeah, a first look at Carter Vickers, really, from a Celtic perspective. I seen him at the weekend. I thought he was very, very comfortable in that position. Good on the ball, but also reads the game really well. Not the biggest, as I said at the weekend, but I think he gets away with it.
Here comes the corners ahead. There's a brilliant save by Hart. Threw himself to his right to keep it out. That was goal bound. As it bounced towards goal, I think it was Guardado's header as Betis come forward again. Celtic hanging on a little bit just in these last couple of minutes and scoring. And eventually they clear. Now they're away in a counter with Rogic. Rogic gets the advantage played and then rolls it to his left for Montgomery. Into the Betis half he goes. He's about level with the edge of the centre circle when he checked his run, and rolls it back into the circle for Soro, and then to Ralston, out to Jota. on the far side. Betis will come out now, and Celtic have shown enough in the game, given the nature of how they scored the goal, that they can hit big time on the counter. As Jota rolls it to Ralston, edge of the box, steps into the area, back out of it, right-hand side, clever chip ball, too high for Montgomery. Rogic kills it on the knee and then lashes it towards goal, but it is blocked by Montoya, and it skips high over the bar for a Celtic corner, and it's Celtic leading by 1-0 as we see a replay of the save from Joe Hart. It was a very good save, Packy.
Yeah, well, it was a set piece again, and just as I was describing the profile of Carter Vickers, lack of height, and he didn't go and attack the ball, which you would expect, and they end up getting a good header on, but Joe Hart comes to the rescue, and he'll have to probably come to the rescue a few times in this game tonight, because this game will have to open up now with Real Betis having a go and try to get this goal back.
Good work in Celtic's favour though, as Montgomery finds Ralston. Montgomery's popped up on that right-hand side, little ball, he was looking for Rogic. It's a poor pass though, and Betis have it back with Joaquin, who rolls it there to Iglesias. He's got an option out to his left as well if he wants to use it in Juanmi. Juanmi has it, he's inside the penalty area up against Carter Vickers, looking for space, he shoots, blocked by Hart at the near post. And then it falls to Starfelt, to Ralston, who can clear. It's opened right up, as Packy was saying. Betis 0, Celtic 1, almost 20 minutes in, but you can hear what the home supporters are making of this. Soro was involved there, and I think that's why they're swarming around as the yellow card is flashed in the face of Andres Guardado, and the ref's going to his pocket here. He's going to another player. Now, he's got his pocket, he's pulled out his notebook rather than a second yellow for Soro, who's brought down Joaquin, and the Betis supporters are howling for a red card for the Celtic midfielder.
Well, it's important that the referee is strong. Yes, I think Soro's got to be very, very careful, and what he's doing now is a holding defensive midfield player, and he did catch Joaquin and could have easily went the other way, but the referee made his decision and stood by it and was very strong when he came under severe pressure from the group of players and the crowd. So I'm glad to see that in many ways.
It's another needless foul from Soro. He's wrong side again. He tries to nick it, and Fekir just rolls him using his body, and he's out of position again. He's running back and he makes a stupid foul. It's needless because he's getting away. The ball's away, and he runs through the back of, I think it was Fekir.
And for the third time in the game.
And it's something that Soro does. You know, he makes a lot of fouls because he's trying to nick the ball. He's keen to go and win the ball, but he can't continue to make those decisions. And you know, it's 20 minutes into the game, but I'm pretty sure the manager and the coaching staff will be looking at it saying, we might have to take him off, because you cannot run the risk of Soro being out of position, and it's not that you're criticising him for being out of position, it's what comes after. You don't have to make, you know, the challenge. You don't then have to go and try and make up for it, make a foul, because especially in the European ties, the referees don't accept you're going to make 6, 7, 8 fouls before they give you the second yellow card.
Betis like to play it out from the back, as we've seen, and running the risk. Edgar Gonzalez there were 3 Celtic players around. Celtic, by the way, enjoying 64% possession at the first quarter mark of this Europa League tie in Spain, where they've lost their last 7 visits.
They have. Celtic, that's obviously
never won in Spain.
No, they have not, but it's early on yet, Liam. Let's see how it develops. Just Real Betis is starting to come into the game a little bit more, making a few chances, getting a bit more control of the ball. Their possession stats will certainly start going up a little bit more now in the last probably 5-6 minutes.
Soro again getting involved. He's run it back off Fekir legally this time though, but the supporters are right on top of him. It was a poor ball by Jota. His last Carter Vickers to smash into the challenge on Iglesias there. Here come Betis again, little short ball back into the midfield. Canales drifting out to the right-hand side of the box for Joaquin, who crosses in with the right foot. And there's a couple of players on the deck. One of them's Ralston, and he's going to get the decision as he challenged Juanmi at the back post. We're almost in 23 minutes. Betis 0, Celtic 1 in Seville.
You can also hear the crowd starting to get a lot more noisier now in the last sort of 5-10 minutes, because they know their team now is starting to up their game a little bit and starting to put Celtic under pressure. But Celtic have just got to remain calm, still continue doing what they were doing in those early 15 minutes and trying to get the control back, keep their passing going.
Celtic in possession on the right with Rogic midway inside Betis territory, leaves it for Jota. skips infield, the man on loan from Benfica. He finds Turnbull. Turnbull's about 25 yards from goal. He hits it, it's deflected, it's gone wide. Corner Celtic. 1-0 Celtic.
Well, we've seen it at the weekend, didn't we, James? That deflective goal from Carter Vickers from about 40 yards out. If you don't strike, you won't score. This time it comes off the defender, and Claudio Bravo, he was left rooted to the spot, just goes about a yard wide.
It comes off Victor Ruiz's arms, which are behind him. Is that a natural position?
Well, it's gone behind for the corner, and Celtic have the chance to try and find a second goal. Turnbull with the outswinger with the right boot. There's a header, it's just over from Carter Vickers. Really well attacked there by the American international, and it will be a goal kick to Betis, but it will be 1-0 Celtic.
Good timing,
small,
good leap,
small guy.
Small guy. It was all about timing.
It's Joaquin running into trouble in the shape of Tom Rogic. He slipped it through here for Ayeti. Can he pop it through to Turnbull? You see Canny's got an option to his right, uses Ayeti again. Ayeti's in, Bravo comes in, makes a challenge. Penalty Celtic! Penalty Celtic! Bravo's brought down Rogic, or Ayeti rather, in the box, and Celtic have a spot kick.
I think that'll be checked. I'm not sure there's any contact whatsoever.
It's one of them where the ball's played through.
It's onside.
Again, a high line from Real Betis, and Celtic get through. It's a good ball back into Ayeti. He's just touched it away from the goalkeeper, and I think it is a penalty. I think he's caught him, James, unfortunately, for the goalkeeper, because you can't, once you don't make contact with the ball and you go to ground, and then the player just knocks it away from you. It's not going towards the goal, by the way. It's going away from goal, and that. So now it's a definite penalty.
Yeah, I think I'm still not sure there's a great deal of contact, but Ayeti has to jump to get clear of the goalkeeper. Initially I thought, there's not a great deal of contact, but the speed, as you said, Packy, that Bravo comes out, he has to jump, or else he's taking a sore one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll cut him some slack there.
The other situation, he comes with his feet. You know, like as a tackle, it's not one where you're coming with your hands, and then you can say, well, I've been trying to go for the ball, and the guy's got in front of me, and you have an argument. Here he's gone with his feet, and if he hasn't made contact with the ball and he brings the player down, if that's outside the box, is a definite foul, so it's a foul inside the box.
No, I haven't seen it again. Yeah, Ayeti has to jump to get out of the way, or else he's taking the hit.
That's good striker play from Albion Ayeti.
But clinical counter-attack from Celtic, I've got to say.
Juranovic on the penalty.
Yeah, he's a good set piece taker, and actually scored in his final match for Legia Warsaw as he helped them into the Europa League.
That was only from about 40 yards over there.
Yeah, it was a fabulous goal. It is a penalty to Celtic, who already lead 1-0. Celtic have never won a game of football in Spain, and yet here they are with a Josip Juranovic penalty to make it 2-0 against the team that finished 6th in La Liga last season. Juranovic stands and waits, the ball just slightly off the penalty spot. The referee sounds his whistle. Huge moment for Celtic, even this early in this campaign. Right-footed, goal! It's a brilliant penalty from Juranovic. That is how you take them. Bravo guessed right. Juranovic finds the left corner of the net, and Ange Postecoglou can barely believe the scoreline on 27 minutes in Spain of Real Betis 0, Celtic 2.
I can't believe I'm looking at the replay again. I can't believe the goalkeeper's gone with his feet. Normally, if a goalkeeper, that ball's played through, it's a 1v1 situation. You go and you either stand up and block, or you go with your hands, and at least then you can stretch for the ball. He goes with his feet, and he was never getting there. But the penalty itself, power, pace, into the right-hand side of the goalkeeper going the right way, but it's the pace and the power, James, that beats him.
Yeah, just getting to see the replay from a different angle, and his legs take Ayeti out. He does. Ayeti tries to ride the challenge, and he still catches him. So I need to get my eyes checked, but no, it's a great finish from Juranovic, and I think because of the way Bravo dives, if you get the height on it, then it goes in. But that's a pressure penalty to take, Liam, as you're rounding off. The fact Celtic have never beaten a Spanish team.
Yeah, in Spain. Yeah,
It's incredible.
Oh, and they could be in again here. Jota's in behind the defence, right side. He's in. Jota tries to lift it over the keeper, who makes the save, and it drops back to Ayeti, whose poor touch takes it straight to Bravo. Postecoglou's got his head in his hands because he knows Celtic have spurned a massive opportunity to make it 3-0 before the half-hour mark. The Real Betis supporters are irate with their players as they come up on the counter with Iglesias, right-hand side of the box. Good slide from Carter Vickers, pinches it back off Juanmi and knocks it out for a throw-in on the near side. Betis 0, Celtic 2 on 29.
What an opportunity it is for Jota. There's no one up close to him where he can, square it. He has to go for goal, and then Betis got up the pitch. And you were speaking about Carter Vickers. He just looks... You're just confident when you watch him that he's going to make the right decision. It's a slide in the box, which I don't normally like to see, but it's to block the shot, he wins it. He just looks so composed, and even though Betis are going on the attack, and I know there's a lot left to play, you don't see that panic from Celtic defence. They're taking responsibility for what's in front of them, but they will have to do that for a bit longer.
Here come Betis, the shot bounces off Joe Hart's post. Did the keeper get a touch?
I think he did. Yeah. I think he got a good hand on it. And
he's just smirking.
Yeah,
he knows he did.
He knows that he got away with one there because it's come off his hand at the near post. Was it a defender? Maybe Ralston maybe just took it. Yeah, it was Ralston.
Shot. Yeah, it's a deflection. It's not a save.
It could have easily beaten him. But he got away with it off the post. This game is going from end to end, isn't it?
Yeah, they covered, Pat.
How's your luck? Joaquin gets it from the short corner, back down that left-hand side. They've got 5 waiting in the middle for the cross, down to the byline. It's pulled back and then blocked by Ayeti, and his efforts blocked. They're screaming for handball. They're screaming for everything. The natives. A third of this Europa League matchday 1 game has come and gone, with Celtic leading 2-0.
Well, the last chance, it could have been 3. I thought Jota took a heavy touch also, and it allowed the goalkeeper to make up the ground on him and just block the opportunity. But it was great. Again, Real Betis holding that high line, and they're getting caught every single time with Jota getting in behind.
I can't find a record of another penalty from Josip Juranovic, James, so the surprise is certainly justified.
It wasn't so much that Juranovic in terms of his ability, it was just, you look at Rogic, Turnbull, Ayeti, striker, how he's come in straight away and he's on the penalties.
Canales to the right of the Celtic box, it's dinked in by Montoya, and then Celtic trying to get this one away. Might break here, it's a chance, and it's a goal. They've pulled one back, it just dropped very, very kindly for Juan Miranda inside the box. One-on-one with Joe Hart. He slips it into the bottom right corner. The arrears are halved by the Spaniards, and it's Real Betis 1, Celtic 2.
Yeah, it was good play. Really good play. Good kind of combination between a couple of players to get into that position. There was a couple of opportunities at the edge of the box for Celtic to intercepting. The last one sort of couldn't really do anything. He's standing inside the box, and if he did take him down, he was going to be off the pitch also, so he elected to sort of almost shy out of it, and then a lovely little give and go, and yeah, 1v1 with Joe Hart, but puts him back in it. This is an incredible game so far. 3 goals in the first half hour.
It could have been more. And Celtic are now looking back at that Jota moment, which came just 2 minutes before Betis pulled one back, as a yellow card is flashed in the face of Fekir this time. But it's now back to a 1-goal lead for Celtic. Betis striking back within the space of a couple of minutes of the Juranovic penalty after Ayeti got a VAR decision to put Celtic in front. But there's a lot of moaning going on the pitch amongst the Real Betis players who feel as though decisions are going against them. And
they've just scored a goal here, and Fekir's been booked. We don't know what for, we couldn't see it. Joaquin's going crazy because there's no ball on the pitch. So I don't know what's wrong. That obviously goes back to when they're trying to get Sorrow sent off. They are rattled. I know they're back in it, but I think they thought it was going to be a lot more comfortable than what it has been.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, the supporters who are there tonight support a La Liga side. and their visitors are from Scotland, from the Scottish Premiership. And with all respect to the Scottish Premiership, they'll be looking at that and thinking this is a nice easy 3 points for us tonight. As the long ball goes through towards Rogic, the goalkeeper comes and collects. But if they do have that attitude, they've not been looking at the rise of Scotland's coefficient in Europe over the past few years in particular. And Scottish football's creeping up that top 10 right now and in a very healthy position.
I think they also didn't expect maybe Celtic to have...
Joaquin's knocked it through to Iglesias. Is there going to be a flag? Iglesias touches it back. The ball's in the net again. Is this for going to stand? Juan Mi's put it in. And Betis have scored twice in a couple of minutes to wipe out the 2-0 lead that Celtic had. Iglesias back to Juan Mi. There is no offside. There doesn't appear to be any check. And the scoreline all of a sudden in Andalusia, after 34 minutes, is Real Betis 2, Celtic 2.
I would like to see that one again. He's just on. I think the decision by Carter Vickers to almost step up to play him offside was the wrong decision. He should have tracked his run, and I think with his ability and strength, he would have been able to almost manage the situation a lot better once you step up. And it was good, Iglesias picking out his colleague just for a little square pass.
He just rolled it along the 6-yard line for Juan Mi, who had an empty net to just tap it into.
Yeah, it's decisions that that matter. Carter Vickers deciding to step up. He's too late. It's good movement from Iglesias, and when he goes in, Carter Vickers is claiming for it. Anthony Ralston's claiming for it. He's no idea where Juan Mi is. He has to keep going. He has to then, claim after the event. Keep going. It's brilliant from Iglesias when he gets into that situation. The awareness to pick out Juan Mi, and it's a really good goal from Real Betis' point of view. But these are the decisions that cost you. Carter Vickers, I think he knows he should be going there. He has to match the run. He's too late in his step up. He just gets it, it's wrong, and they find themselves from a real good possibility of going 3 up to being pegged back level. And for all the great start that Celtic have had, some of the football they've played has been magnificent. This is a test now for them to see if they can get that control back in the game, because they've been the better side, there's no doubt about it. They've been the better side, but Betis shown a good bit of quality in the 2 goals they've scored, and now they have to maintain the composure. It's still level. It's not a disaster. They can still get back in front and take control of this game
under the
back.
cosh though, and it's Joaquin on the right hand side of the Celtic box, poking it along to the 18-yard area. Canales with the shots blocked by Starfelt. Sorrow, and then to Montgomery, and then it breaks to Starfelt. But these are difficult times for Celtic. They could have made it 3-0 on 29 minutes. Suddenly after 35 it's 2-2, 36 on the clock now. And Betis have really cranked it up since going 2-0 behind.
Yeah, they've woke up, Liam, haven't they? Initially they were spooked with the way Celtic approached the game high up the pitch. They didn't probably expect that away from home, a European tie, that Celtic would come out that way. But that's the way that Ange Postecoglou wants his team to play, and that shouldn't have taken them by surprise. But I think normally away from in Europe, you wouldn't probably, a Scottish team anyway, pressing that high. But they controlled the game also, Celtic, for that period. But that woke them up, and they've got into the game. And that first goal, it was good play, you've got to say, around the edge of the box. Nice little give and go and getting them in. And then the second goal, mistake from Carter Vickers, not following the players, trying to play offside, and they get caught out. So game on, 2 each.
Yeah, it's been some first half and it's not over yet. 37 minutes played. Elsewhere in the group, Bayer Leverkusen have just equalised against Ferencváros. In the other game in Group G, that match in Germany, Ezequiel Palacios has scored. Some of these names you'll hear in the other game Celtic will grow accustomed to as this group plays itself out between now and December. As the bold throw-in comes down the line towards Ayeti, wins the throw-in. A bit of respite for the Celtic defence, because the last 7 or 8 minutes have been a real test for them. They've conceded twice, and they've come up against a storm in the searing heat of Seville, as Turnbull rolls it back to the right-hand side of the box, or the centre circle for Starfelt. Now Juranovic for Sorrow, all the way back to Starfelt. Now he finds Carter Vickers. Up the line for Jota, little back heel, comes off the second Betis goal scorer, Juan. And out for a throw-in on that far side, which is going to be taken by Ralston. Into the sunshine, bowls it forward towards Turnbull. It's one in the air by Miranda. Yeah, he got the first one, he got the second. And it's two simple finishes. They made them look very easy, as we see a replay of the moment at 2-0 up. Jota raced in on the goalkeeper, tried to lob it over Claudio Bravo, and then Ayeti put the rebound tamely back into Betis possession. There's something happening, not sure what it is. We're watching a replay of the Betis second goal, and there's been a yellow card shown to Carter Vickers. As I say, we don't know why. We'll maybe get a replay of that in a moment as the match ticks on to about 39 minutes. And Carter Vickers joins Ismaila Soro in the box. Hopefully we'll get a replay of whatever happened.
It's bizarre, isn't it? You can hear the crowd getting noisier, you can hear the referee's whistle, going, and we're still seeing a replay of the goals. It's mental.
You're a slave to the local director as Ismaila Soro picks up right of the penalty area, rolls it out to the right touchline for Turnbull, who is it nicked off him in the midfield, and it's back there to Guardado. His pass is wayward though. It's now with Jota, who finds Rogic just outside the centre circle as we head towards the final 5 minutes of an eventful first half, with the scoreline at 2-2. It is Rogic, looks up from the left-hand side, knocking it forward to Ayeti, who's adjudged to have fouled Victor Ruiz, and that will be a free kick for Betis, the edge of their own penalty area. And we're seeing it now. It was Carter Vickers on Iglesias on the halfway line, and a little clash between the two, but it didn't look as though they're...
That's ridiculous.
Much ado about nothing, really, but the yellow card's been produced.
Yeah, it's never a yellow card for me.
Not even a foul.
I don't even it's a foul.
It's not a foul.
I think the player tried to back into him, and he's kind of almost stepped out of the way and went and read the situation and won the ball. So he's been very, very unlucky to get a yellow card. But it puts him under pressure. That's the problem.
Yeah, it does. But you called it right. Iglesias trying to back into Carter Vickers. He just kind of sidesteps him and takes the ball. It's not even a challenge. He's just moving out the way. That's a... if I was playing, I'd be screaming at the ref for giving a foul, let alone a yellow card into the bargain. It's a terrible decision.
To each, little bit of a lull in the game, hitting about 41 minutes. Long ball for Joaquin out this near side, but it goes all the way through to the other captain this evening, Joe Hart, in the absence of Callum McGregor. And 41 is the time. Betis 2, Celtic 2. It's knocked out to Turnbull on the right-hand side on the halfway line. Forward for Jota, takes a couple of touches, overhits the pass to Ralston, and breaks to Guardado in the middle of the pitch. Such an experienced figure, the Mexican. Played at 12 international tournaments, including Confederations and Gold Cups. He's played at the last 4 World Cups as well. The 14th most capped player in international football history.
Very
experienced Guardado.
Very experienced team. When you look at Claudio Bravo, 38 years old. Joachim is 40 years old.
Well, Bravo's got 136 caps.
Yeah.
Joaquin has got 51.
Absolutely. Lots of experience in the team, and you can see that, and you can see why they had to step it up a little bit. I just wonder whether that start Celtic had within this heat, could he keep it going? That's the challenge for them. You can see now Real Betis kind of start to take a little bit more control of the game as this half wears on nearly to the end of the first half.
Joaquin is so old, he retired from international football 14 years ago. Some players are lucky to have a career of 14 years.
He's 2 years older than me, and I retired 4 years ago, and he's still playing.
Amazing. It's absolutely amazing. She said earlier he was playing La Liga football in the 1990s.
And it's not as if, looking back at some of the games, they use him a lot. He comes off the bench, and he's an integral part of the squad and the team. Played
30 times last season, and this is his 5th appearance of this campaign. Of course, no qualifiers for the Spanish sides. Given the Scottish coefficient I was mentioning earlier, there will be fewer qualifiers for the European representatives in the next few seasons, which is good. As Betis pick up in the midfield. As I say, a bit of a lull in the game. Not necessarily a bad thing from a Celtic point of view, 2 apiece, as that's played short there to Victor Ruiz.
I think, Liam, they can't be too disappointed. They're still, level.
Well, they've got some more defending to do. It's an up and under from Miranda, which is flicked away by Starfelt. It was under pressure from Iglesias. Picked up by Joaquin, right-hand side of the box, heading towards the byline. His cross is cut out by Juranovic. Joaquin gets it back, though. Rolls it to Montoya, to Guardado. Back out to Joaquin on this right-hand side. Montgomery comes to try and close him down. He's level with the Celtic penalty spot. Short ball, back the way to Fekir. Then he finds Guardado. Another side foot short ball forward to Canales. Out to the right for Fekir. He's level with the penalty spot again on this near side. Heading towards the final minute of the first half, or at least the opening 45. Canales with the little ball into the box, takes a deflection, and then Montgomery's able to get rid of the scraps on this near side. It looks as though it's a Betis throw-in, which has been taken quickly and worked back to Juanmi. He's popped up in the right wing. Now Canales sends the ball into the penalty area. Iglesias goes down under the challenge of Carter Vickers. He's appealing for something. I'm not sure that on any day of the week is a penalty, as Carter Vickers went in. He didn't know too much about it either. Iglesias, quite clearly going by the replay there, was looking for the penalty as we go into the final minute, but 20 seconds into it now. Betis 2, Celtic 2, final minute of the 45.
I think both managers probably would like to get their teams in just to try to give a little bit of instruction and settle in. Celtic, from that perspective, if they could get in at half-time, 2 each at least, and then if something that then settle down, build, get back to what they were doing really well at the start of the first half. They've got a real chance in this game.
It was maybe a 10-minute spell where Betis threw everything at them and got their 2 goals. They've eased off since then as Celtic come forward. Rogic wide right for Jota. Can they get their noses back in front? Jota's cross ball comes in, beats everyone. It'll be picked up by Montgomery. Heading towards any stoppage time that's being added on by the Croatian referee. In just a moment, we're just crossed into that first of 3 minutes of injury time as Turnbull collects in a central area. Celtic attacking the Betis box here. Soros short to Rogic, runs into the challenge though, Victor Ruiz I think it was, and now Betis are away and a counter down the left. Iglesias has it, driving down the left hand side. He's got 3 waiting in the middle, rolls it back to the edge of the box. Joaquin steps inside, drops the shoulder into the box, he goes, but Carter Vickers slides in and it bobbles back to Joe Hart, and it will stay Betis 2, Celtic 2. 3 minutes of injury time. Of course there was the VAR check for Celtic's opening goal, and that will have eaten into the 45. Why there is such a lot of injury time as Jota picks up down the right, knocks it into the Betis box, cleared by Montoya, only half away, picked up by Turnbull. Heading towards the end of that first minute of injury time, rolled out to Juranovic on the inside left channel, crosses in with the right, headed half away, volleyed for goal by Jota, bounces back off the defender, and Celtic have a corner in first half stoppage time with a score at 2-2.
Yeah, I think this is the time to manage the game now a little bit. Just manage it out. Don't have to. Well, no, you don't have to. You don't have to try and score a goal at this crucial time. I think you've got to get into half-time. Tom Rogic losing the ball. I know it's on the edge of their box, but they hit you on the counter-attack, and it was only for a brilliant tackle from Carter Vickers when Joachim was in the box. They could have ended up losing a goal out of it.
I know what you're saying, Packy. I think the Celtic supporters at home want them to score here as the corner comes in. It's flicked away, breaks to Montgomery. He plays it short to Soros. Celtic trying to keep the pressure on. It's back with Juranovic in the centre circle. Pings it with the right foot, high out to Turnbull. And it's one in the air there by Miranda, who nods it out for a throw-in over on that far side for Celtic. About level with the edge of the centre circle in Betis territory as we go into the final minute of first half stoppage time. Long ball into the box is way too close to Claudio Bravo, who holds on with both gloves, and now Betis might get the final attack of the first half. And it's been an attacking first half from both sides. Here's Fekir picking it up in the right, midway inside Celtic territory. Fekir, now he's level with the edge of the D on the right inside channel, moves infield, central, little ball, gets the give and go, back to Fekir, couldn't force it goalwards or across the 6-yard line. It's blocked and Celtic clear, picked up by Adam Montgomery on this near side. Nice shuffle there, good skill by Rogic as he battles with Joaquin, who wins it back for Betis. Still about 30 seconds left of the first half. It's a clip ball in by Canales, but it comes all the way through to Joe Hart, and it will be Real Betis 2, Celtic 2, and I would imagine that will now be the half-time scoreline. In fact, it is the half-time scoreline because the Croatian referee's seen enough. But it's been an all-action, frenetic, exciting first half in Seville. Celtic racing into a 2-goal lead after a VAR check. Ayeti bundling it home as it bounced off the defender. Wonderful play down the right, Turnbull, and then Jota, who played it across. It bounced off the defender, bounced off Ayeti, survived the handball that the referee initially gave. The VAR gave the goal after a lengthy check, and that coming on 15 minutes. It was 2-0 after 27. Ayeti racing into the penalty area. Good give and go with Turnbull. Ayeti fouled by Bravo inside the box. The experienced Betis goalkeeper Juranovic stepped up with a superb penalty as he smashed it into the left corner of the net for his first Celtic goal. There was a big one as well to put them 2-0 up in a country they've never won a game in. But they surrendered that lead after Jota missed a chance to make it 3-0. The side that finished 6th in La Liga last season, scoring twice in the space of 2 or 3 minutes. Juan Miranda from Fekir, then Juanmi from Iglesias. No flag to save Celtic, and the lead was wiped out in the blink of an eye. But half-time in the glorious Seville sunshine, as we watch the pictures coming in from Andalusia, it is Real Betis 2, Celtic 2.
Celtic in the Europa League. Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
It's a Celtic goal!
This Sporting Life with Tom English.
A podcast of interviews with compelling characters from the world of sport.
Scott Brown is such a leader of this football club.
I still believe that I could push myself and have another couple of seasons, so I came up to sunny Aberdeen and got a 2-year deal.
Bailey Doyle, the most decorated Scottish athlete in history.
You're never ever going to experience this again. Yeah. You're going to have this home Commonwealth Games, a Scottish crowd. It was just like, just enjoy it.
Hear these conversations and many more.
Here comes Cole Lambert. Lambert again!
I was brought up in an era where if the boots weren't clean, they made sure you knew about it. You became battle hardened.
Subscribe now by searching for This Sporting Life on BBC Sounds.
Well, it's certainly a fine series, that it has to be said. You doing any breakfast programmes these days, Tom, or just sticking with the podcast and sports?
Oh, a bit of everything. You know me. Jack of all trades, master of absolutely none at all.
I've got to say, you say that in a very self-deprecating way, but I've got to say some of those chats are absolutely riveting. Really, really good listen, folks. So please do go to the BBC Sounds website and listen in to as many of them as you can manage. Right, 1-1 in the other game in the group at half-time in Germany. Leverkusen against Ferencváros. Sami Mai putting Ferencváros ahead, the central defender, but the equaliser coming from the midfielder Exiel Palacios with just about 8 minutes left in the first half. So 1-1, Leverkusen against Ferencváros. Just quickly across the continent in the Europa League, Galatasaray 0, Lazio 0. It's 0-0, Lokomotiv Moscow against Marseille. That's in Group E. In Group F, Red Star Belgrade 0-0 against Braga. Michelin and Ludogorets are 1 apiece. In Group H, Rapid Vienna 0, Genk 0, Dinamo Zagreb 0, West Ham 1. That was an early goal from Michael Antonio. And that is it in terms of the first round of fixtures. The Europa Conference League, of course, also underway in the group stages. Spurs are 1-1 in France against Rennes. Abada own goal put them in front early on, but that was pretty quickly levelled off by Flavien Tet, the midfielder for Rennes. So 1 apiece in that one. Full details, of course, of all the games across the continent, the website bbc.co.uk/Sports Scotland. Later, it's an 8 o'clock kickoff at Ibrox. We'll talk you through all the action from that one as Rangers kick off their Group A campaign against Lyon. Well, I've got to say, this has been an incredible first 45 minutes, Tom English.
Amazing. You know, after 25 minutes, you think, okay, this record of Celtic's never having won in Spain, going back to 1962, is over. They're going to win this game. This is their 20th game in Spain, 16 defeats and 3 draws. I think, right, they've cracked it. 2-0. Could and should have been 3-0 when Jota went through. I think they were playing such terrific football going forward. Fearless stuff. Doesn't matter. Didn't matter to them that they're missing so many good players, so many good attacking players. Their leader in McGregor, their inspiration in Kyogo. It didn't matter. They were just going forward. They were making chances. I don't think Betis knew what hit them. And then hoisting their own petard, you know. They are so committed to attack, they get done defensively. And they're still, while Celtic are still a thrill going forward, and that's really kind of surprises me that they've been so coherent in attack, given what they're missing in attack.
Yeah.
But they are still very, very suspect in defence, despite not missing that many players in defence. You know, it's going to what it's go. This half. This is going to be their season in microcosm. I think they're going to thrill and appall Celtic fans, not quite in equal measure, but it's going to be a lot of that.
Right, I'm looking there at various. We'll talk about the goals for Betis and as they came back in the game. But I'm just watching some of the highlights coming through there. BT Sport, as you may have read or heard, are showing the game this evening, folks. There's been a bit of coverage about that. The second Celtic goal, we'll come to the first one in a moment. I mean, actually, I suppose a bit of discussion and debate about both, but it took a long time. It took full 2 minutes for the first goal to be allowed. It was the correct decision. I mean, there was no handball from Albin Ajeti.
No. I mean, look, to be fair to the referee, one angle that I saw, I thought it's gone in off his arm.
Yeah.
Next angle, I thought, no, that's come off his chest. That's fine. And it is fine. It's a great goal. The boys were spot
great
on.
Move. Yeah.
Great with Rogic and Turnbull and Jota, who's looked really, really creative out wide. And it's what a start. 13 minutes in, it's another goal for Ajeti. That's 3 in 2.
Yes.
For him, he was 3 in these previous 29. So maybe he's getting it together, and they've needed him tonight because they're missing so many strikers, and he's delivered for them.
Yeah, and prior to that, there was a chance for Jota. After that, there was a chance for Ajeti, which was safe. Turnbull had a shot deflected just wide, and then comes the penalty, and Pat and James convinced it's a penalty.
Yeah.
You and I, in here, in a different studio, cannot understand what they're thinking.
I don't see any contact at all.
Well, there is no contact.
Yeah.
The only contact.
I'm glad you agree because I'm thinking I've gone mad here.
The only contact is when Ajeti sticks his right foot out. But I mean, he's already tumbled by this stage, but his right foot goes out and it catches the goalkeeper in the chest. So James, explain to the mere mortals through in this studio why that's a penalty.
Initially, I didn't see the contact. And
so you're now saying there is actually contact?
No, what I'm saying is,
there is.
Have a chance to see it again. Whether there is or not, the goalkeeper comes out, and if Ajeti doesn't ride the challenge, he's taking him out and probably hurting him the speed he's going out.
Yeah.
But I felt, first off, you see it, I felt he's jumped over him and that will go for a check. I did say that.
Yes.
But you see it again and you think, well, if he doesn't jump him, then he's taking him out and he's probably hurting him because of the speed he's coming out, because as Pat says quite rightly, he's coming out with his feet. He's not coming out to win the ball. He's coming out to make a challenge almost. He should be coming out with his hands to try and gather it. By doing that, he extends himself and he might get a touch on the ball. But I think Ajeti, I agree with you, I think he's maybe anticipating the contact, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because if he doesn't, he's taking a sore one and it's a penalty regardless.
Right, so if that incident occurs anywhere else on the pitch, you've got no doubts a free kick would be awarded.
It's a free kick.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Absolute free kick. And Richard, you were a goalkeeper. I know you played at a very high level.
I never thought I'd hear that tonight.
From one goalkeeper to another.
From one goalkeeper
That's
to
why
another.
you think there's nothing wrong with it. You just went out with his feet as well.
In that situation, would you
let's
come
share
with
World Cup final stories, Pat, shall we?
Would you come with your feet
no,
or
you
your
wouldn't.
hands?
Of course you wouldn't. You'd either
So
stand
once you
up
come
or
with your
come out
feet and you lunge at the ball from a distance and you don't make contact with the ball, and the player, I think he's caught him on the follow through slightly, but it doesn't matter. He may have rode the tackle, but it's definitely a free kick, and there's a penalty on that. On free kick inside the box, outside the box, free kick inside the box is a penalty.
If there's no contact, is it a foul?
Yes. Yes, but because he goes with an intent to try to get the ball, doesn't get there, and slides in. Yeah, listen, I'll watch it again. Let's have a look at it and slow it right down.
I can understand it if
I think he's caught him.
If by having to avoid the challenge Ayeti has been unable to get to the ball. But it was immaterial in that respect. He wasn't getting to it anyway, was he?
When I watched it, normal speed, I thought he's trying to get a penalty. Yeah. He's trying to get the touch and get the penalty. Bravo's played into his hands and come sliding out with his feet, and there is a slight bit of contact with Ayeti's foot, whether he initiates the contact or not. But I think that if he doesn't jump, then
he's going to do him damage.
He's taking him out.
And he's going to do him
it's
severe
obviously
damage,
went to a check. They're happy with the decision because whether he takes him out or not, if Ayeti doesn't jump in the air, he's taking him out, and it's a penalty kick.
I've said all along, I'm happy to bow down to the knowledge of our experts. And let's be honest, not only has the referee done that, but VAR, the guys, the referee, the official in charge of that, he's had a good look at that, because they look at all the key incidents, and he will have determined that, certainly that it was not a clear and obvious error by the referee. So it's been given. Celtic are in a great position. Jota gets in behind shortly afterwards, scores that, and it could have been anything, I guess. And then suddenly, within the space of just over 3 minutes, Real Betis hit the post and scored 2 goals. I mean, just absolutely slapstick almost.
This is in the DNA of Celtic team, and you can change the players around, but they're still going to play the same way. And it's ambitious, and it's adventurous, and it's high risk. And that's the Postecoglou way. And Celtic fans are going to have great fun watching this team attacking, and they're going to have pretty stressful moments watching the team defending, because they're all in. They're all in on attack. And this is what you get. When you're and against a good side, they got the defending for the first goal, from Miranda's goal. It's kind of hesitant, it's soft, it's just shy. There's no one taking command there. It's just too easy for them. Second goal, again the same. Carter Vickers, I'm still dubious about him as a defender. He's been on loan at so many different clubs. His career has not settled, and there's possibly a reason for that, because he keeps moving around. No one seems to want to commit to him. So I'll be very interested to see how he develops at Celtic, because I think as a defender, he has a lot. He's a lot to learn, and I think he was poor for that second goal.
He made a mistake by stepping up. Wrong decision. I think if he had to follow the player with his ability, I think he would have been able to manage the situation much better. But he made a mistake of trying to step up, and he got it wrong. Now, I think that's down to probably not playing, for sure. I think where people maybe question Carter Vickers is that he does lack that couple of inches. He's a heavy set lad. When you look at him, you think he's going to struggle as the tempo goes up. But I think actually, Tom, watching him over the last couple of games, I think he's not a bad defender. I think he reads the game well. I think he gets good tackles in at times. I think he made a mistake in this occasion that has probably allowed you to question him. But I think that's down to probably not playing games. I think he's not bad, actually.
It's been a remarkable 45 minutes, and I dare anyone to confidently predict what on earth is going to happen in the next 45. It's been really entertaining.
And I think you're going to get this a lot with Celtic. They're going to be great value. They're going to be great entertainment, and they're going to score a lot of goals.
Well, Tom, what qualifies what you're saying actually is how they managed out the last couple of minutes of the game, and that half. I'm shouting, I'm talking here, but guys, manager don't. But he tried to put the ball into the box 3 times. They got caught in a counter attack, and Real Betis had about 3 chances, and with about 2 minutes to go, and injury time in the first half. And if you're thinking about it, and you're an experienced player, you'll say, guys, just get the ball, keep it in the corner, don't give anything away, and we'll get in at half time 2 each, and then we've another second half to try and win the game. But instead, Celtic's mindset is we're going to go for the goal, and that might be great for entertainment, great for the fans. I'm not so sure if it works in European football.
Well, we should also say, a couple of very good saves by Joe Hart as well during the first 45 minutes, but loads of chances at both ends. It's been very, very entertaining. Remember, later we will talk you through events at Ibrox as Rangers kick off their campaign against Lyon. Right now, I think probably whatever happens, we can enjoy the second 45 minutes from Seville. There'll be more from Tom English a bit later. Let's get back to James, Pat and Liam.
It's been some game, hasn't it? As Betis prepare to make a change for the start of the second half. Looks like Germán Pitzela is going to come on, Argentina international. Made 3 appearances at the Copa America, including a substitute appearance in the final, which Argentina won thanks to Angel Di Maria's goal against Brazil to lift the trophy. Not sure who it is that he is replacing, but he is a defender, so we'll no doubt get confirmation of that at some point, whenever Telly decide to tell us. Can't see the fourth officials board confirming anything at the moment, but anyway, no changes for Celtic, who'll line up Hart in goal, Ralston, Carter, Vickers, Starfelt and Juranovic at the back, Rogic, Soro and Turnbull in the middle, with Jota and Montgomery either side of Ayeti, who scored Celtic's first. Juranovic with the second to make it 2-0 from the penalty spot, before Betis stormed back with 2 goals in less than 3 minutes from Miranda and from Juanmi. And it will be the home team to get the second half underway. They are going from right to left as we watch. All in blue with white flashes, one of their change kits. Celtic also in one of their change kits, the all white with the pinstripes on the shirts, as Montoya gives away the free kick over on the far side. Martin Montoya, who set up one of Neymar's goals when he scored a hat-trick against Celtic in a Champions League game in the Nou Camp, a 6-1 victory. I think that was the season after Celtic had beaten them at Celtic Park and pushed them very close in Catalonia. As Carter Vickers steps out and rolls it infield to Ralston, who's popped up in the right centre-back position there. Celtic going left to right in the second half. As we watch, as Ange Postecoglou watches from the touchline. Driving forward is Montgomery. Good play from him. He rolls it to Turnbull, who's now a bit level with the edge of the D of the Betis penalty area. Picked up by Montgomery. Rolls it infield. Soro now with Ralston. Good play from him as well. Stepping away from the challenge of Juanmi. Finds Soro. And out to the left-hand side, Juranovic, who finds Turnbull. Level with the 18-yard line. Celtic want their lead back. It's Juranovic. Short to Soro, square again. Soro forward towards Rogic, gets it back. And then to Turnbull. Now Ayeti's in, but he took too long, and his shot eventually is sliced and away wide of the left-hand post, and it will stay at 2 each.
It was brilliant play. Lovely little one-touch pass and into the box, but yeah, you're right, it just took too long. He's got to hit that first time, James, when the opportunity, just played with his left foot into the corner. Instead he tries to take a touch, and the defender got back.
No doubt about it. It's a great opportunity, and it's well worked. It starts all the way from the back. They keep the ball. No Betis player manages to get a touch on it. They must play about 15, 16 passes into that area, and as it comes to Ayeti, he's in the middle of the goal. Just open up your left foot. Just go for, just not pass it slow, firm, back across goal, first time with your left foot, and ask a question of the goalkeeper. You're never going to be able to take 2 and 3 touches in that situation.
Iglesias on the left-hand side of the Celtic box. Now he's attacking. Ralston drives for goal. Hart was down, makes the save to his left. It's one that could easily have gone wrong, but he holds on to it comfortably in the end. 2.5 into the second half, with the score at 2-2.
Yeah, decent save. It's one of them that he's cut in on his right foot from an acute angle at the edge of the box, and it's sort of bouncing right in front of Joe Hart, and he's gone to catch that ball in his body rather than his 2 hands, and it was close enough for him to be able to hold on.
It's out on the far side, Montoya. Not sure if they actually made the change, Betis. I can't see.
I don't think they did.
No, they haven't. No, they've stayed as they were. Pizzella looked like he was coming on, and may well be that he will be on pretty sharpish. It's picked up by Canales, switching the play out to Joaquin on that right-hand side. Rolls it back down the line for Montoya. Infield, Canales, scorer against Aberdeen in a Europa League qualifier during his time at Real Sociedad. It's worked out to the left-hand side. The cross from Miranda's a good one, but it bounces away and will be let by Juranovic to go behind for the goal kick. It's the thumbs up there for the cross from Miranda. He's unfortunate. It could easily have come off the defender as well.
That's a brilliant cross, a really good cross, and it's good play from Betis, because the 2 white men are going narrow and allowing the fullbacks to then get high up the pitch, and Jota's having to chase back. He can't get there, and Miranda puts an unbelievable cross in that Juanmi just can't get on the end of. But you're absolutely spot on. It's one of those where it's in the area in between the defence and the goalkeeper, that all it takes is for the defender to go and try and win it, and nick it past the goalkeeper. It's a great chance.
The thing is, as well as the striker, the defender's got to try and attack that ball, even though he's facing his own goal. Could so easily have bounced off Carter Vickers into his own net. 49 played it 2 apiece. Celtic breathing a sigh of relief there, Packy Bonner.
Yeah, and the goalkeeper couldn't comfort either, because the two of them's actually beyond the post, so he would have to cut it out in a different. Here's Celtic on the counter-attack.
Ralston picks it up, works the 1-2 with a Yeti, but he couldn't quite get it back into his stride, and it's Betis coming forward inside the centre circle. Juanmi leaving it there for Fekir, the France international, rolling it out to the right-hand side for Joaquin, then back with Nabil Fekir. He's a good goal scorer, Fekir, likes to play through the middle as it's rolled out to Miranda on the left. Now there's a little bit of space to work in for Canales, left-hand side, drives it across, and it's in! And Betis have turned this right round. Iglesias gets his goal. Brilliant ball in from the left. It was smashed into the 6-yard area, and Iglesias was there to score his first of the season and give Betis the lead in a game they trailed by 2-0. Real Betis 3, Celtic 2, 5 minutes into the second half.
Far too much space out the left-hand side. Miranda coming forward again, acres of space to operate in. And then Gonzalez running off Sorrow in midfield, where he should have been seeing that, should have been tighter. Then the ball across the box, and the big striker getting in front of Starfelt to get his nick on the ball and giving Joe Hart no chance from being in a 2-goal lead now to find themselves behind, and again defensively let themselves down.
Right, James, firstly, Iglesias doing what all good strikers do, attacking the near post. That's what you want from your number 9, but should Celtic have defended that better?
There's no doubt about it. You know, as Pat described there, you know, the joy that Betis have had during the game is their wide men have pushed inside, allowing the full-backs, particularly Miranda on this left-hand side, to get forward, but Canales runs from the midfield. Sorrow is nowhere near him. Sorrow then jogs to try and block the cross, puts his hands behind his back, turns and lifts his right foot. If he just stands, it hits off his right leg and goes out for a corner, or maybe they can get it under control. But then he puts the ball in. Carter Vickers, we spoke about the cross just before it. It's a tough one for the defender because it could go in. He pulls his leg out, and Iglesias makes a great run across the face of Starfelt and puts it beyond, but it is so avoidable. It's a poor goal to lose.
And then the two centre-halves come out to get the same ball, Starfelt and Carter Vickers, and eventually Carter Vickers puts it behind for a needless corner.
Well, Carter Vickers has got to do that because he's not getting the communication from the defender behind him. If he's coming across, he's shouting, he's organising, because Carter Vickers doesn't see what's behind him, so he has to give away the corner. Puts him under
didn't
pressure.
have to be there in that position. Fekir will take the corner for Betis, looking to turn the screw. 52 on the clock, 3-2 to the Spaniards. And it comes from Fekir, headed by Carter Vickers, and then Turnbull gets it half away. Taken down there, oh, it's in! It's another goal! Taken down on the right foot and smashed in. Right-hand side of the box. It bounces off the left-hand post. Juanmi has his second. Betis have their fourth. And Celtic are wilting in the heat of Andalusia. Real Betis 4, Celtic 2.
Well, it's another goal from a set piece again. Second phase ball. First one, they've dealt with it okay. They've got it out, they've headed it out almost, but Juanmi reacted quicker than everybody else around about him. You can see here that they've been quick onto the ball. I think it might have been, I'm trying to see who was it that didn't react. Maybe David Turnbull. No, it was actually Tom Rogic, I think.
He makes a run off the near. He makes a near post run, or certainly across the front, and he just spins round, and he's the only one to react. He takes he chests it down, and he's got time to chest it and get his shot away. Yeah. And there's no one. Tom Rogic is trying to get back. I suspect he's on the edge of the box, and he has to be alert. But Juanmi's run off someone at the front. I'm not sure who it was, but I mean, they do so well, as you say. Carter Vickers does well to win the first one. David Turnbull then gets a header to what you would think is to clear it, and Juanmi makes a run, he's changing direction as he chests it, and it's a good strike. Joe Hart absolutely no chance, threw a lot of bodies in off the post, but it's just another poor goal to lose.
Yeah, and they lost 2 goals in close proximity in the first half. They've lost 2 goals in close proximity in the second, as Joaquin, the Betis skipper, is replaced by Aitor Ruibal. 25-year-old striker comes on and will probably play out that right-hand side that Joaquin has vacated. And suddenly this is turning into a very difficult and potentially a very desperate night for Celtic in a country they've yet to win a game in, as Fekir's challenged by Starfelt on the far side, and that is a throw-in to Real Betis. The roof's just caved in, Packy.
Yeah, well, listen, the game is it's more than just passing the ball and being on the front foot and doing all the good things. Attacking, defending is the other part of the game, and you've got to get the whole package to be successful. And Celtic have let themselves down defensively again, and they need to now to get a big reaction here and try to get back into this game somehow.
Here is Iglesias, he's on the edge of the box, he shoots, blocked by Carter Vickers. Celtic pick it up with Jota, who's now driving across halfway. His huge moment that could have made it 3-0 in the first half, as he a couple of step overs and smashes it across the box, but there's nobody there. Ayeti was closest, but it was behind for the goal kick, and Celtic will make a change. James McCarthy is going to come on, not sure who for as yet, as
I think
it's going to be Soro.
Soro, yeah. I think we're not surprised with that one from a point of view of the role that Soro has to play. It's not tonight, it's not about getting on the ball and doing all the passes, it's about the defensive qualities in midfield, and he's obviously been booked also, and that's a critical factor. Maybe that's taken away from the defensive mindset.
We spoke about it before, and I know you'd said that James McCarthy wasn't fit, but
he's not 100% fit.
Yeah, I'd still be tempted to start him and see how long he lasts, and then, you know, maybe look to make a change. Sometimes you're not 100%, but you can see the game out. I thought it was ideal for James McCarthy to start the game, and Soro, the game's passed him by, both on the ball and against it. He's not really been able to do the role that was asked, and you know, a couple of occasions it's cost Celtic.
And he's had to play within himself, having potentially avoided a red card in that first half as the flag was up against Betis on the far side, midway inside the Celtic half. They will have a free kick, 56 played. Betis 4, Celtic 2. Celtic led 2-0. Rangers up against Lyon, that game kicking off in an hour. Their team is McGregor in goal, Tavernier, Goldson, Balogun, Barisic, Kamara, Davis, Lundstrom, Kent and Aribo either side of Morelos. That is the Rangers starting 11. Connor Goldson makes it, having missed a rare game for him at the weekend in Perth.
Yeah, just on the Soro one, if he's playing in a conventional midfield three, it's fine because the distances aren't, you know, as big, and he doesn't have to cover as much ground or you know, shuffle over as much. But when you're playing in that role for Celtic, the way they play now, you're there on your own. Turnbull and Rogic are high up the pitch, so you have to be aware of everything around you. You have to see the danger from all angles, and I just don't think he sees it. You have to be able to get on the ball and play those forward passes, take the ball under pressure. There was an instant just at the start that led up to the chance we're speaking about, where Anthony Ralston has actually went into the area that Soro should have been in to try and, you know, build that attack. He just hasn't get involved, and it just doesn't seem to work with him in that position. That's why, you know, the loss of Callum McGregor is huge for them, because he will take the ball, but he also sees the game, and it just hasn't worked with Soro being in there.
Carter Vickers rolling it to his central defensive colleague Starfelt. 57.5 on the clock. Betis 4, Celtic 2. It's rolled forward to Rogic, right-hand side of the Betis half, now driving towards the box at the right angle, finds Jota, calmly rolls it back to Rogic inside the area, looking for some space. Brilliant ball, chance, goal! Is the flag up though? Yes it is, against Albion Ayeti, who headed it home from 6 yards out. It's a wonderful little dink ball, but Ayeti was offside, and it stays 4-2 to Betis.
Yeah, the defence just stepped out at a critical moment, the centre half, and if he was alive to that, he might have been able to react and get himself in an onside position, because it was a great ball in between the goalkeeper and beyond the centre half for him to knock into the net. Again, shows his quality inside the post, right on that 6-yard box where he scored all his goals of the weekend and tonight.
Yeah, these are big times for Albion Ayeti as a Celtic player, with Kyogo out for those 4 or 5 weeks, I think it is. But he certainly impressed the Betis coach Manuel Pellegrini, who spent £8 million buying him from Basel for West Ham United. It was something the guys out there were asking Pellegrini at his media conference yesterday about Albion Ayeti. He'd been described as one of Pellegrini's worst signings at West Ham. Pellegrini defended him and said he's someone that they'll need to look out for in the game, and he gave Celtic the lead, and Celtic thought they'd pulled one back there, James, through Ayeti.
Yeah, and you know, it's good defending because they step up, and maybe, you know, because it does seem to come alive in the box, maybe an Albion Ayeti who's had a run of games will spot that and make that little, you know, adjustment, little couple of steps to his right before then, you know, to get himself back on side to then go and get in that position. But the positive for Celtic is they've had the ball in the back of the net. It's good play, so they will get more opportunities to get the ball in the back of the net, but they have to keep it out of their own.
So will Betis though, and it's Miranda's cross ball, comes off the chest of Ralston, and Joe Hart prevents the corner as we head towards the hour mark. That was it James McCarthy?
That was James McCarthy. And that was a really good position that James McCarthy took up, because Carter Vickers had been pulled out into the right-hand position. So that holding midfield player just steps into the centre-half position, and then you're doing a job to defend your box. Critical.
Apologies, I saw the two number 6s and I thought it was Ralston. You know how the fullbacks like to pop up in central positions under Celtic's current manager. Just beyond the hour mark, Celtic are 2 down, having been 2 up in this game. A couple of nightmarish spells in either half. We've seen their lead wiped out to some tune.
Even the first couple of goals, Liam, you know, you can, sometimes it's just, you know, good quality against you. I think it is too passive, but when the ball then gets into the box, it's difficult to put a challenge in. You have to be spot on, and you know, the second one, it's a decision to step up. It's the wrong decision, but the next two in the second half are the ones that you'd be concerned about, because these are things that you can do better. You know, Sorrell can get out and stop the cross, and they can win the second ball in the box. So the first two, you've got to expect a team like Real Betis, with the players they have, they're going to have moments of quality. But probably the last two are the ones that will be most disappointing from a Celtic point of view. But, you know, as I said, they still look as if they can cause a threat going forward. And if they can get another goal in the next, you know, 5-10 minutes, then the game changes again.
Yeah, they've already scored twice. As the long ball out to Miranda is always an option. Celtic really toiling down this near side. Miranda scuffs his first time cross though. And it's straight to Ralston, who rolls it out to Jota on this near side, and then back to Ralston, who digs it out with the right foot into the central area. It goes. And the header won back by Betis, picked up onto the chest of Miranda here on the near side, trying to force it through. And it's cut out. Now Jota sidesteps the challenge on this near side, skips across the halfway line. A little ball in field for Rogic. Rogic falls to ground but wins it back. Good skill, and they've got a good option in Montgomery out the left, but he couldn't get there. Rogic still gets the free kick, and there's a yellow card as well from the card-happy Croatian referee for the substitute, Aitor Ruibal. And that will be a free kick to Celtic about midway inside Betis territory, in a central area, maybe just slightly right of centre.
It's brilliant again from Rogic, isn't it? It takes a poor first touch and ends up on the ground, but he manages to roll it with his top of his left foot and drag it inside and force that foul from Ruibal. But going back to Betis exploiting that wide area, Wanmi's movement to take Ralston away in the pitch, to allow Miranda to get forward, is forcing Jota to have to run all the way back into the right back area. It's brilliant from Betis, brilliant from Wanmi.
Meanwhile, David Turnbull over the Celtic free kick, clips it into the box. It's flicked towards goal and then knocked into the side netting, in the end up by Carl Starfelt, who was the left-hand side of the 6-yard area. So the worst attempt from Celtic. Turnbull's ball helped on its way. I think the offside flag's gone up anyway against both Starfelt and Ayeti. 63 on the clock.
Yeah,
Betis 4, Celtic 2.
Sorry, Liam, going back to the point that James was just making there about the way that they've exploited that left-hand side. Jota's not going to be doing a defensive role. That's the problem that he has. Even if it was Abada that was on that side, would find it really difficult tonight, and fullbacks have caused a problem. Miranda on that side really caused them problems, and then the quality of the ball into the box is the other end part of that, the execution. They got away with it before the goal. It was a great ball across, and then the goal itself, getting somebody across that near post, just getting the flick on and putting it in the back of the net.
Juranovic has taken a sore one. He's down at the edge of his own box. The free kick was given. there after he was brought down by Torreira, who was booked just a moment ago. Was asking the question of the referee, as Ismaila Soro did in the first half, as Betis prepared to make a couple of changes. Don't know whatever happened to German Pizzella. Looked like they were going to bring him on after half-time. There's going to be a double change with another Argentinian, Guido Rodriguez, coming on along with Portugal's Euro 2016 winner William Carvalho.
A lot of experience there. Carvalho coming on and Rodriguez. And I think they'll probably try now with their 2-goal lead to maybe almost stop Celtic from creating anything.
4-2 to Betis, almost 65 plays. Celtic on the ball over on the far side. The line from Starfelt, it's well read there by Montoya, but it's won back by Celtic, and it's a long ball by Ralston to Jota. Has he got the control? Yes, he does. Gets it into his stride. Down the right-hand side he comes. Jota, one way then the other, rolls it across the 6-yard line, but it is hoofed up high into the air by Victor Ruiz, and it will be a throw-in on the near side for Celtic, a bit level with the Betis penalty spot. Taken quickly by Jota, back the way to Ralston. Now it's McCarthy, forward to Rogic, looking for some space here. Rogic, little back heel, leaves it for Turnbull. Pokes it out wide right, Jota, two-weight in the middle. Jota crosses, in it comes, it's Rogic with the volley, and it's off the post. Brilliant play by Celtic. Tom Rogic caught it sweetly enough, but the post keeps it out, and it stays Betis 4, Celtic 2 on 65 and a half.
Oh, what an opportunity for Celtic to make it 4-3. Brilliant play, you've got to say, down the right-hand side. Good cross to the back post, and he was so unlucky, Tom Rogic. Hits it on the volley first time, comes off the post. Could have easily ended up in the back of the net to put Celtic back in this game. James was right, they can still create chances. They're not out of this game by any means.
I think that's the nature of the approach from Celtic. They will continue to attack, and they will get chances if they can get it right. It's a great pick out from Jota, because he's crossed before it, 2 or 3 minutes ago. He hits the first man, but he presence of mind to look up, spot that Rogic is at the back post, and I'm convinced he picks him out, and it's a great hit. He keeps his eye on the ball. It's just unfortunate to see it come back off the post, but they are continuing, and they will continue to do the things that they work on, because that's the only way they know how to play, and they will continue to get opportunities. Betis have been clever, because they're almost accepting that, yes, Celtic are going to get opportunities, we need to be in a position to go and exploit that, and they've done it brilliantly so far.
Fekir almost onto it, Starfelt was there, and he rolls it short to Juranovic, who seems to have recovered from that injury earlier. It's now with David Turnbull. Flicks it with the outside of the boot out to the touchline for Montgomery, back to Turnbull, long ball, looking for Jota, takes down on the chest, under pressure from Miranda, taking on Miranda out to this near side. Miranda brings him down. Celtic have a free kick midway inside the Betis half, 67 played. Betis 4, Celtic 2. They certainly cough up opportunities to Real Betis, so Celtic not out of this yet. Just proven by Tom Rogic, who kind of almost came off the outside of his left boot as he hit that in the valley, as the home team make what looks like actually being a triple substitution.
Commentator's dream, Liam.
I hate it. Yeah. The other one to come on is the number 15, Alex Moreno, who was on Barcelona's books as a youngster. The other two I mentioned coming on, Guido Rodriguez, Argentina international, another who made a substitute appearance in the Copa America final victory over Brazil, which is always a pleasure if you're Argentinian. Fekir comes off. Didn't see much of him in the second half. He's replaced by Rodriguez. That's a like-for-like change. Former River Plate player. And it looks like Miranda is struggling as well. I'm not sure if he'll be one of the players to come off too. Guardado, who took on the captaincy from Joaquin when he came off, will be replaced by William Carvalho, who played just about every minute of Portugal's Euro 2016 adventure, with the exception of the semi-final that he was suspended for. He played in the final in Paris against the French. And on he comes. He's an important figure for club and country. And the other change being made just now, as I say, Betis ringing the changes with Alex Moreno, the third of those substitutes to come on. And it's a like-for-like change as well, as he replaces Miranda. And I'm not sure if Tony Ralston will be gutted to see Miranda come off. I'm sure Jota will be feeling likewise.
Yeah, certainly in a defensive aspect, but going forward, Jota's definitely had the better of Miranda, and that's, you know, having been a winger in my time, there's nothing worse than a full-back that wants to run the full length of the pitch and you have to run back and cover for him. Plus you also have to offer that threat, and at times, yeah, he hasn't been able to get all the way back in, Jota, but when he's been on the ball going forward, he's certainly looked lively and looked a threat, and Miranda will be happy that he has to go off and doesn't have to keep chasing him back, I would suspect.
Still 1-1 in Germany. Bayer Leverkusen against Ferencváros. The Hungarians led in the first half, pegged back before the break. 1-1 as Celtic come forward. A lovely back heel from Jota for Ralston. Doesn't have the same quality in the cross though. He slices it behind for a goal kick harmlessly at the near post. Betis 4, Celtic 2, hitting about 70 minutes in Seville.
Yeah, it was a good position for Tony Ralston. It just got caught under his feet a little bit, and he had to scoop the ball out on the cross, and his technique let him down a little bit. But Rodriguez injured right at the very start since he's come on. He's just been caught. I think he's been caught by Jota, who's just backheeled the ball, and he's got himself in between the ball and the player, and he's caught him. So I think he's okay. He's just hobbling back to his feet, but. That actually, you know, when you look at 4 substitutions by Real Betis, Celtic haven't probably the opportunity to do that tonight because they're so short in players. And I think substitutions now, James, is a huge thing in the game from a point of view of freshening the team up, but also you know, having legs in the team and keeping yourself nice and sharp.
It's just a change as well that gives the opposition something to think about. You know, by 70 minutes you're figuring out, you know, players' movements and what they like to do, and when you bring on a sub, particularly an attacking one, then it can bring that kind of unpredictability and that freshness you're speaking about.
There's Ralston down the right towards the byline. His cross is blocked and it will go behind there off the substitute for a corner. Celtic look for a way back into this. 4-2 Betis. 71 on the clock.
He's got to do better, Ralston. It's a great bit of play again from Jota and Ralston, but he takes a touch then he has a look up.
Yeah, Jota crosses, Carter Vickers is up, but he can't get any power in the header down into the ground, and it bounces up to the grateful arms of Claudio Bravo, who replaced his opposite number, Joe Hart, at Manchester City. It was Pellegrini, who is once again Bravo's manager, who made that decision. And Betis, who have the ball the edge of their own penalty area, out to that right-hand side. Betis 4, Celtic 2, as Bayer Leverkusen go 2-1 up in their match at home to Ferencváros. Florian Wirtz with the goal, set up by Moussa Diaby, coming within the last minute or so. So Bayer Leverkusen 2, Ferencváros 1, and both the underdogs for the bookmakers, if you like, led their respective matches this evening in Group G. But the 2 favourites now leading. Leverkusen 2-1 up, Betis 4-2 up as Juanmi clashes with Ralston. And it's a Betis free kick which they've taken and moved it all the way back to the edge of their own penalty area. I'm not sure if everyone's aware of it, I'm sure many are, but if you finish 3rd in Europa League group, it is not now the end of your European adventure. You would transfer to the Europa Conference League knockout stages now, and if you finish runners-up in your Europa League group, you will then go into a new playoff round, which has replaced the last 32, because of course the Europa League is a streamlined tournament this season. So you then go in to face whoever finishes 3rd in the Champions League groups. As Joe Hart clears his lines down this near side, there's still that safety net of the Conference League. It's very difficult to get knocked out of Europe these days if you reach the group stage in particular, and if you start in the Champions League qualifiers in particular. 73 minutes played, Betis 4, Celtic 2.
Of course you would take the Conference League, but I don't think the fans would be too enamoured. I think they would rather have a go at this tournament. We got there before to Seville, as we all know, into the final, but never quite got over the line. But their performance today, James, I think has been a good performance from an attacking point of view. I think they've produced a lot of quality in the game. Just the defensive side, again, has let them down a little bit.
Yeah, without doubt. I think that the start they made, you know, when you see the team, you're looking at the players that are missing. You know, Abada's been excellent. Kyogo certainly leads the line brilliantly. Callum McGregor, you have to say, you fear the worst getting into the game, but the start they made, the players that have been on have shown that they can do well. You know, Jota's been excellent in the attacking sense.
Turnbull forward to Montgomery, it's just under his foot though, and Betis pick it up on that right-hand side, and they have it on the right flank. They've got options over on this near side if they can switch the play, which they have done. Picked up here by Alex Moreno, who's not long on, driving down the left in field. He comes away from Ralston, rolls it along the 18-yard line, looking for William Carvalho. Ralston gets there first, finds Rogic, and Celtic able to get it away momentarily. Heading towards 75 on the clock, with Betis leading Celtic by 4-2.
It's a tough ask for Jota on that right-hand side also for Celtic, because he's obviously just come into the club. He hasn't had a lot of probably match fitness, and he's been asked to go and take the game to them and then do the defensive side and a European tie. And I think at this stage it's, you know, almost 15 minutes to go. It's been a
cramp
big,
right on cue.
Yeah, it's a big ask for him.
It is. It's some shift he's had to put in, and a lot of the time he is trying to get back. It's just maybe the reaction's a bit too late.
Canales was almost in with the angled ball in towards him. Ralston's covering across. Good defensive work by Tony Ralston. Came close to getting into the Scotland squad for the recent triple header, particularly when the Scots lost Nathan Patterson. They were struggling for numbers in that area of the pitch, but you would imagine Tony Ralston's not too far away generally from the Scotland squad as he picks up on this near side. It's now with Carter Vickers.
Yeah, the intensity is now gone out of the game a little bit, and you would expect that with the conditions also of the heat as the game approaches the last 15 minutes.
I think we were talking about, you know, the players that Celtic are missing. And, you know, Kyogo's the obvious one because of what he gives you in attack, his movement, he looks to get beyond, but his work rate's phenomenal. He does a lot more than attacking, and when they're against the ball he sets the tempo, and that's maybe what's missing from Ajeti. You know, when the ball comes into the box it comes alive, but you have to do that shift for the team, and I know it's difficult conditions, it's hot, and you know it takes a lot out of you, but he's just standing up front waiting for the ball to come. He has to go and try and get involved, try and get his team up the pitch, try and put a bit of pressure on that defensive line.
Down the right come Betis again, and an opportunity to cross, little ball in for Iglesias, who smashes it across the face of goal from the right of the 6-yard box. He's kicking the advertising boards behind Joe Hart's goal in frustration. He feels he should have made it 5. It stays at 4-2 to Betis.
Yeah, he looked to me as he's not offside. It was a good run, actually, a nice little run down the side of Carter Vickers. Gets in, it was a tight angle, and he's just put it past the other post, not far away.
It's Rogic for Celtic, beyond the midway point of the Betis half. Finds Turnbull at the edge of the penalty area. Can Celtic find a route back into this game in Seville? Rogic for Jota. It was a heavy-looking touch, though. Tired-looking touch from Jota.
Yeah, I think it's tired more than anything else.
It's a couple now, his last 2 touches.
I don't know whether the manager can put somebody on that would help him to freshen things up a little bit in the last 15 minutes. There's not a lot on the bench, to be honest, that he can go to.
That's maybe why he hasn't looked at it as yet. I mean, James McCarthy came on earlier, but it's a wafer-thin bench that Celtic have, and they've got a big squad generally, but maybe just underlining the issues that Ange Postecoglou has to deal with for, in particular, this game. They've got the 2 sub-goalies, Barkas and Bain, Scales, Uragide, Shaw, Murray, Henderson and Welsh. There's not much firepower on that Celtic subs bench tonight. 12 to play, 4-2 Betis. And Jota down this right-hand side has impressed, the man on loan from Benfica. He's played Champions League games for Benfica, played in Spain last season with relegated Valladolid, so knows what he's up against in this country as he picks it up on the right, looking to cross, chip ball in. Claudio Bravo eventually holds on to it, and comfortable take for him in the end, though he made a little bit of a meal of it. The man who was on the bench for Barcelona's Champions League win over Juventus in Berlin in 2015, and he smashes it forward with the right boot, and it's going to sail all the way through to his old club mate Joe Hart. It's about 11 to play. Betis 4, Celtic 2, and it's those two moments in either half where Celtic shipped goals in 2 or 3 minutes in the first half, and then again in the second, early in the second, and that's what's done them as it stands. They trail 4-2.
Well, that big moment that we talked about with Jota and to make it 3-0.
That's under the microscope.
We didn't maybe probably think there was going to be the defining moment, but I think it was in this game. When you think about 2-0 up, you go to 3-0, then that's a long way back for Real Betis. But when it's 2-0, they've always got a chance, and then they get their goal fairly quickly after that.
Yeah, I think you're just enjoying the fact that Celtic are creating opportunities, and another one will come. And Betis at that point didn't look like they were going to be able to respond, but they managed to figure it out. They got away with that one. You have to say it's a mix of a heavy touch from Jota, but Bravo's off his line quick as well to close the angle. But they've clicked into gear, and they've shown that they've got real quality as well.
It was only after that moment for Jota that Betis woke up, as Montgomery picks up on the left, dances into the box. Low ball is half away. Montgomery battling for it, trying to keep this alive if he can. He's got his back to goal. It's headed half clear. Turnbull gets there, feeding off the Gonzalez header. Then over on the far side, Juranovic runs into trouble, but Montgomery's going to get there. Little back heel's beautiful for Juranovic. He's a bit level with the penalty spot. Knocks it out of the defender for a Celtic throw. Good play by the visitors there. We're in the final 10 now, into the 81st minute, with Betis leading by 4-2. I think they're going to make their final change. And it is the young winger, Robert, who's going to come on from loan at Las Palmas last season. He scored 8 times for them in the second tier. And the captaincy will change hands yet again as Betis bring off Sergio Canales, and making his way off from Real Sociedad, Real Madrid player. And on comes Robert, 10 years his junior. And that will be the final change for the home team, who lead 4-2, 9 to play. Can Celtic set up the grandstand finish?
I think what the encouraging from this game for me is that obviously Celtic, when they have gone forward and the way that they passed the ball and that sort of almost open in 20 minutes, that they know that they can compete in this group. I think that the game against Real Betis, they will go into that with a lot of confidence. Yes, you have to defend and defend properly, but from an attacking point of view, and if they can get Kyogo back and McGregor back into team pivotal positions, then I think they have a real chance in the group.
The home games are crucial in every group, but Celtic, when you think back to that AZ Alkmaar game, the stadium was rocking that evening. They'll need that rocking for their 3 home games. Anything they pick up in the road's a bonus. 10 points might be enough as Celtic pick up in the edge of the penalty area with Montgomery. Back it comes to Juranovic, short to Turnbull, little ball into the penalty area for Ayeti. He's got his back to goal, holding off the defender, rolls at the edge of the box. Turnbull shoots, it's low, but it's saved by Bravo. 82 played, Betis 4, Celtic 2.
That's good play from Ayeti. It's like might be offside, but he backs in and lays it off, and you're talking about how the toll it's taken on the Celtic players, and that ball comes in to Ayeti. There's no one really anywhere near him, coming across the face, trying to link up. Rogic is, kind of close, but he doesn't really try and affect it. And as he lays it back to David Turnbull, he's only really got the shot on. He gets a good connection, but straight down the throat of Claudio Bravo. You would expect him to save that all day long, but it was good play initially. Can they just push that little bit more and get someone, closer to Ayeti when the ball comes in that situation?
Cameras panning along the Betis bench. Joaquin, very much the focus. The 40-year-old who started the game came off earlier in the second half. He's part of the Valencia team that beat Rangers under Unai Emery 11 years ago. Really good Valencia side. Juan Mata, Jordi Alba, both at the club at the time. As Celtic play on with Carter Vickers. 83 played. It's out to Rogic on the right in the Betis half. Gets it into stride. He's nicked off him just momentarily by Juanmi. Wins it back. Rogic goes down. No free kick though. And it's now back with Juanmi on this near side. He's got 2 goals on the night for Betis. All 4 goals for Betis were scored inside the Celtic penalty area. And Juanmi's second, and the goal that made it 4-2 was probably the pick of the bunch, albeit the first was a good move. And he smashed it in off the post to make it 4. As Alex Moreno prepares to take a throw-in, level with the edge of the centre circle. In the Celtic half on this near side, beside Manuel Pellegrini. He's wearing a green shirt that looks more befitting of the winter, let alone September in Seville. Must be even hotter in Santiago. Here's Rogic out to this near side. Walking pace at the moment, midway inside Betis territory. Rolls it out to Ralston. Infield for Jota. Not a great touch. And William Carvalho has it back for the hosts. Carvalho took his eyes off it a second there, and his countryman Jota has it. Rolls it to Yeti, right-hand side of the 6-yard box. And he forces the save from Claudio Bravo, who holds on. 84.5 played, Betis 4, Celtic 2. Was that Celtic's big chance?
And it was another, let's call it at the end, a half chance, because the pass from Jota was just overhit slightly for a Yeti to get onto, and then it was a very cute angle. But they are in control of the game.
Rogic rolling it in towards Jota. It's cut out there though on this near side by Moreno. Celtic get it back with Ralston, trying down the right-hand side of the Betis box. Iglesias, who's back, trying to challenge as the cross comes in from Ralston, just too high for Montgomery. Trying to keep it alive, goes to ground, free kick Celtic, but level with the Real Betis penalty spot. If Celtic still have designs on taking something from this game this evening, they have to think about scoring now, and they've got a free kick in a very nice area, left-hand side of the Betis box.
The unfortunate bit about him, a lot of them is running on empty. You know, even though they're in control, they're that little burst of energy or a decision or getting to the ball quick to maybe create that critical chance, and even the chances they have created, it's been easy saves for.
The last one with Yeti, he has to take the shot on, but it's an impossible angle. It'd have to be a howler from the goalkeeper, but he's no other option. There's no one with that energy to go and burst into the box and get the tap in. Not that he was probably going to square it anyway, but they need to try and get a few more bodies up close to him.
Turnbull's over the free kick, as I say, level with the penalty spot. In it comes, it's decent, it's in! Ralston's put it into the net, and Celtic are back to within 1 with 4 minutes plus stoppage time to play in Seville. Ralston roars and shouts at his teammates to get them going for one final big push. It is Real Betis 4, Celtic 3.
Nothing less than they deserve, to be honest, because they've been on the front foot in the last sort of almost 10 minutes round the edge of the box. This time it's another set piece, and Ralston using his strength and very courageous to get in there and get into the ball first. It gives a big last 5 minutes. Could they sneak a draw to this? Something that they would love to do, and I think deserve in the way that they've approached the game.
Well, if they can manage to get another goal and get a draw, it'll be a fantastic result in performance, considering, you know, you go ahead, you get pegged back, you go 4-2 down to keep going. You're right, the last 5-10 minutes the pressure's been good, although we're speaking about the energy. They're getting bodies up.
This near side, rolling it back to Celtic's most recent goal scorer, Ralston. Picks it up, lovely play by Jota. Ralston driving forward. It's energy sapping stuff as the slide challenge comes in, but Celtic have a corner. We've hit 88 minutes in Seville. 4-3 Betis.
I've got to say, brilliant from Tony Ralston. Real desire to get to the byline, and you can see him clutching his leg, whether he's had a knock or he's got cramp, but he's certainly, that's desire for you. Brilliant young man.
Sweat-soaked shift as Turnbull takes, flicked away by William Carvalho at the near post. Montgomery will keep Rogic, left-hand side of the box, looking for space to cross. Does so, cut out by the first man though. Out it goes for a throw into Betis on the far side. 90 seconds of 90 minutes to play. It is Betis 4, Celtic 3, but it is at least Celtic putting up a real fight here as they try and get a point from this game. An unlikely point for much of this second half it would be if they can somehow get something out of this game, but they're very much in this, James McFadden.
They are, and I think the defensively it's been tough down the right-hand side, but attacking-wise, the relationship between Jota and Ralston's been really good this second half. They've managed to create good opportunities to put balls in the box, and we were asking before the third goal goes in, can they find a lift from somewhere, and that goal's given them that. You can see that with Ralston. He's running on empty, but he still makes that burst forward. His desire to hold off the defender and get the cross in and go and get that corner. But can they go and do it once more? They will get another opportunity. They have to take it.
It's a poor ball, though, out on the far side, though. Juranovic bails himself out. He has it inside his own box. The final 30 seconds of the 90 minutes. Joe Hart slips as he clears up into the air. It's won in the air there by Moreno. Picked up by Carvalho, who rolls it out to the near side for Juanmi. Back to Carvalho. Now back to Moreno. In the Celtic half. Down the line it goes. Ralston with the challenge. Now it's with Jota. The natives are restless in Seville. It's now with Turnbull. Short there. It goes to Jota. Back to Ralston.
James, open up.
Celtic have it. It's 3 minutes of injury time. We're into the first of those. Big switch from Jota. Was decent, but the bounce evades Montgomery. And it goes out for a throw into the home team over on that far side. Betis 4, Celtic 3 in stoppage time.
I'm sure that James McCarthy to open up 2 or 3 times there, and he keeps the ball, keeps it alive, of course, over on this right-hand side, but then Jota tries to open it up and he overhits it. And yeah, it's just running, the time's running out in Celtic. They've only got a couple of minutes. Could they conjure up one more chance in this game?
They've certainly conjured several up in this game across the piece. They should have scored 4 themselves. Rogic hit the post. Ayeti had the ball in the net, but it was offside. It's Carter Vickers rolling it across up to halfway for Jota on the near side. Has to go back though into his own half for Carter Vickers, though Jota was caught, and the referee springs to life, goes to his pocket and shows, I think, Moreno the yellow cards. We're into the second of 3 minutes of stoppage time. This needs to go long forward here for Celtic if they're to get a point out of this. Alex Moreno booked. No little doubt about that when we see the replay for the challenge on the Portuguese Jota. And Celtic in a hurry here. McCarthy rolling it into the centre circle. Here's Juranovic. And the whistles beginning to come from the Betis supporters. Many of them, thousands of them, seem to have left. Comfortable that their team are going to take all 3 points. Well, Celtic are still in this. Long ball, McCarthy. Comes off the head of Moreno on this near side, battling with Jota, who may well be Celtic's man of the match, despite missing that superb opportunity to make it 3-0. That seems like a heck of a long time ago now, as Ralston bowls the long throw into the penalty area. The referee's blown his whistle, though, against Albion Ayeti. What on earth was that for? It stays Betis 4, Celtic 3, as we tick into the final minute of 3 added on by the Croatian referee. Betis 4, Celtic 3.
Oh, he's in a big favour for the defender. All he's doing is just using his body, using it to shield between the ball and the centre half, and he gives the free kick to Real Betis in a critical time, in a critical position.
Yeah, it's because he's put his both arms over the defender's arms and backing in, trying to hold them off, but he has to do it. The defender's tight, he wants that contact, and the referee was quick to make that decision.
Celtic have only won 1 away game so far this season. It was against Jablonec in the qualifiers. We're into the final 20 seconds, taken up to halfway. Celtic with Starfelt, rolls it to Turnbull. Turnbull's midway inside the Betis half, out to Montgomery. It's now or never for Celtic. It's rolled back to McCarthy, the final 10 seconds. A long ball, Jota's in there, but so too's Claudio Bravo, who holds on, and that should be about that. 4-3 Betis.
Yeah, it was a good enough pass.
The right idea, but it was too high. Should have been flatter.
That's what I'm looking for. Right idea, wrong execution.
That's it. It's all over. Betis get it over the line. Pellegrini punches the air in celebration. The winning goal in the end came from Juanmi's second. And Celtic spurning a 2-0 lead on the night to lose their opening Europa League group match. And a quite sensational game of football, it has to be said. It went from one end to the other. Both sides had 2 goal cushions at one point. Celtic just couldn't find that equaliser. Tom Rogic looks wistfully back at the post, which denied him on the volley, which would have made it 4-3 earlier than it ended up being. But it was a night where there will be loads of positives for Ange Postecoglou, but loads to mull over as well, because they shipped 4 tonight. And as I say, from a 2-0 up position on 15 minutes, Ayeti put them into the lead. Jota's cross, they had to wait for a lengthy VAR check before Ayeti was credited with the goal. After the initial conversation was about whether it had come off his arm. That was 1-0. It was 2-0 in 27. Juranovic stepping up to smash home a penalty, won by Ayeti after Claudio Bravo fouled him in the penalty area. That was 2-0. Betis were not happy with either of the decisions made by the Croatian referee at that point. The 2-0 cushion lasted just 5 minutes though. Juan Miranda knocking home to make it 2-1 from Fekir's through ball. And then Juanmi just less than 3 minutes later, Iglesias rolling it along the 6-yard line, onside, clearly onside, and Juanmi rolled it into the empty net to make it 2 apiece, and that's where we were at half-time, before another couple of minutes that Celtic will want to forget. Iglesias making it 3-2 to Betis, turning the game on its head on 51 minutes, as he knocked home from Canales down the left-hand side. And then the 4th goal arriving from Juanmi, took it down right-hand side of the box, smashed it in off the left-hand post and into the net to make it 4-2. Ralston set up the grandstand finish on 87 after Rogic had hit the post, but it will all be looked on as a relatively positive performance by Celtic, but it could have been so much better had Jota made it 3-0 with that big opportunity in the first half before Betis turned the tide thereafter. So disappointment for Celtic in match day 1 in Europa League Group G. A win for Leverkusen against Ferencvaros in the other game in the group. It's Leverkusen up next in Glasgow for Celtic in a couple of weeks' time. It finished in Seville. Real Betis 4, Celtic 3.
Celtic in the Europa League. Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland. There's no substitute.
As Liam mentioned, there are 2 home wins to kick off the group. Ferencvaros were in front through the big Moroccan central defender Same Mai, but Ezequiel Palacios, the Argentine, got the equaliser for Leverkusen. The German Florian Wirtz with the winner 21 minutes from the end. So Leverkusen 2, Ferencvaros 1. And remarkably, Real Betis 4, Celtic 3. Elsewhere, West Ham have got off to a winning start. Goals from Antonio and Rice in Group H. They've won 2-0 away to Dinamo Zagreb. The other full times, Galatasaray beat Lazio 1-0. Lokomotiv Moscow and Marseille drew 1-1. That's in Group E. In Group F, a win for Red Star Belgrade 2-1 against Braga. Midtjylland and Ludogorets drew 1-1. In Group H, Genk with a 1-0 win in Vienna against Rapid, and that win for West Ham against Dinamo Zagreb. And of course, Conference League as well this evening. Spurs have kicked off with a 2-2 draw. They had got in front through an early own goal. They fell 2-1 down, but Pierre-Emile Højbjerg with the equaliser for the London side in that one. Of course, Rangers coming up. We brought you that team news earlier, and we'll get a chat with Mark Haitley and Richard Foster. Tom English going to be staying with us. We'll get to them in a moment or two. Let's just wrap things up for the moment in terms of that astonishing 7-goal thriller in Seville. Celtic are going to be kicking themselves. To go to Seville and score 3 goals and still not come away with anything is going to be so frustrating, Tom.
It is, yeah. I mean, to put so much into the game, to have other chances apart from the 3 that they took. The 4 goals they conceded were all conceded in a 21-minute burst. Some really avoidable goals. I mean, really poor stuff. So as you say, to go away to a good side with loads of personnel missing and scored 3 goals is a hell of an achievement. But it doesn't get them any points. It's the 7th time in 13 games this season that Celtic have scored 3 or more goals in a game. And just thinking about it there, right? Scoring goals is not a problem for Celtic, even though tonight they're missing Abada, Forrest, Kyogo, Giakoumakis, and if you want to talk about Mikey Johnston as well, I know he's a long-term miss, but he's another very creative player. So they're missing those 5 players, yet they still score 3 goals away from home in Europe. Their problem is defensively, and tonight they had the guts of their strongest defence. They had the number 1 goalkeeper, Joe Hart. They had Ralston, Starfelt, and Juranovic. They're probably three of your first four, with Julian thrown in there as well.
Yeah, because Ralston's been so consistent. Absolutely, since the start of the season. And Starfelt and Juranovic are the two big money buys.
Yeah, and I think I think Julian is the other one that goes in there. So they have their goalkeeper and three of their first choice back four playing tonight, and they concede 4. They're missing loads of creative players, and yet they score 3. So scoring goals is not a problem with this team. Absolutely not a problem. It's defensively. And McGregor would have helped because a bit of a buffer, but they need more of a buffer, I think, in the defensive midfield area. Because if they can get that, if they can become stingier in terms of giving away goals, they're going to win an awful lot of games this season, and they could do something in Europe. But at the moment, they're giving away goals very cheaply.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it says everything, Pat, doesn't it, about the squad right now because of these now clearly notable absentees. But in the blistering heat of Seville, in a game in which Real Betis freshened their side up throughout the course of the second half and make 5 changes, Celtic made 1 in the whole of the match. McCarthy on for Soro. I mean, even Tom Rogic played the whole 90 minutes, which is a rare. No, I mean, I'm not being in any way disparaging that. No, it's rare. No, clearly, very rare indeed for that to happen. So it's an evidence that he just looked at his bench, the manager, thought, they're not going to do any better than what I've got out there.
No, and then you see Jota is almost running on total empty. And, he had a big game at the weekend. They had to play him longer than he probably would want to. He had to play him again tonight. And he's got quality, there's no doubt in it, going forward. But when you have to do the other part of it, and then when your legs go, the offensive side kind of falls away then from you, so you then become just an ordinary player. But just going back to some of the things that Tom was talking about there, what you've got to also remember, this is very early days. Carter Vickers has just come into the team. Starfelt has now been in a little bit, and you've got Juranovic. There's 3 players, all decent quality, but they have to get into a situation where they build up this almost relationship, and you can see that that's still work in progress.
And I'll let you move on, but just on that, I mean, that's all very well and perfectly reasonable as an argument. I suppose the issue has been over a number of years now, Celtic have had defences that have been made up of players who haven't just
the last 30 years.
I played bedded in.
Also, it was exactly the same.
Yeah, giving away the same kind of goals as the more experienced, more long-serving defenders have been given away for. Well, as you say, for
a long time. And that's the way the Celtic play. And Tom's right in many ways. DNA, they're on the front foot most of the time. And we talked about it even before half-time where they didn't manage the game. Even at the end there, you've got to hand it to them. They were still on the front foot. Obviously, Real Betis was quite happy in the 4-2 situation. Didn't have to go and score another goal and so on because they were in a commanding position. The other point I was going to make is, Tom talked about a buffer in midfield. Look at the way that Celtic have been set their midfield up away from home. They've got Tom Rogic, David Turnbull and Soro, and they play with Soro as a sitting player, defensive player, on his own in that position. Yes, Tom Rogic will drop in at times. Yes, David Turnbull will drop in. But they're more on the front foot and they play higher up the pitch. So you now have a full area in front of your back four that Soro has to cover. And you can see from that goal, the final goal, he's not capable of doing that. He needs help in there. So flipping that around and playing 2 holding midfield players away from home would be probably the way that most managers might set themselves up.
He won't change.
But he won't change because he wants to play this other attacking type. But